Hey everybody, meteorologist Hutch Johnson getting ready to go live here. And here we go. Hello everyone, meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you live. It is 7:50 p.m. on 7/7 on this Monday afternoon. A tornado possible from this Grand Forks area storm. Let's get right to the latest on the radar right now without making you wait. Here's what you need to know. This storm is south of Grand Forks. Grand Forks is not in the risk. There's a trio of storms here, each one with its own unique characteristics. One that will skirt near Red Lake Falls that has some hail potential. All of them have this little kidney bean shape or a hook echo on it. This one particularly strong and rotation detected in it as it's working its way east of the Thompson area, just near Reynolds now. You see this little ball on the end of it here. It's not necessarily a debris ball, but it's definitely a hook echo. There is some pretty tight shear with this storm that has shown up in the last few scans. With what we would call a tornado signature on the storm itself. Do you see the bright reds next to the greens right there? Is that tornado signature that's fairly tight rotation or spin just off to the east of the Reynolds area? Let me go ahead and give you a distance measurement of where this is taking place. So basically from Reynolds, as you go off to the east, that tight rotation couplet, we call it, is about 4 miles to the east-northeast, and that storm is moving off to the southeast at about 25 miles per hour. So here are the details on the storm warning. We'll tear apart these other storms in more detail here in one moment. But again, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect with a tornado possible. The main risk from this particular storm is going to be very, very strong straight line winds. And let's go ahead and go up to the radar up top here. You can get a feel for what it is, what the warning includes. Until 8:15, the hazards are going to be that 60-mile-per-hour wind, a 1-inch diameter hail, and a tornado is possible, is the tag that the National Weather Service used with this particular storm. So again, if you are in the path of this one, a good idea, seek shelter, interior room on the lowest floor, stay away from any windows. Tornado possible, 1-inch diameter hail, and the gusty straight line wind threat from that storm. Let's get to the details on the radar here and track the storm with its motion. Again, the storm motion is off to the southeast, 35 miles per hour. So as we take you in just a bit closer to the storm itself, let me go ahead and, pardon me, gotta load up my tracking mechanism toolbox here. There we go. Okay, so this storm here has a long shape to it. You're going to get hail and rain first before the rotating part. I'm tracking the rotating part of this particular storm and the big hail core right here. Moving off to the southeast, we're putting it at 35 miles per hour plus. We'll be near climax by 8:13, so you have generally about 20 minutes for that to get to you. You will have a clear view of it on the south side here, the rain-free base, so we'll take a look at some images later. This is moving towards fertile Beltrami as we go through the upcoming 1 hour. So if the rotation continues, that's something that I will keep you up to date with. But again, a thunderstorm that is severe, 1-inch hail, gusty straight line winds, and a tight rotating indication by the Doppler radar taking place right there. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this cell that's outside of Red Lake Falls. You see that little hook on it, a hail core with it as well. There's no warning on that particular cell, but it's capable of up to 1-inch diameter hail. Let me take a look at the velocity couplets with this one, see if there's any spin detected by the Doppler radar in Mayville. And there is not anything that is terribly strong here or organized like the other storm. Shooting a little bit higher up in the clouds, though. It is a strong storm. You see the reds next to the greens, how they're not immediately right next to each other. The bright greens not next to the red. It's some weaker spin in that particular storm. I'm going to go up a couple different angles and see, and I'm not seeing evidence of it being organized or deep spin within that cloud. So the main threats from that one will be hail up to around 1-inch diameter, and that's what's going on with that Pennington County storm and western parts of Red Lake County storm. And again, that's this one here, just southern parts of Pennington, western reaches of Red Lake County, crossing out of northwest Polk right now, just north of Crookston. And in fact, let's take a look at some of the cameras that we have available to us here. From my friends over at the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network, we can take a look at a couple of their cameras here right quick. They do have some Minnesota cameras. You can go to their site here and visit this on your own. But if we switch over to the Minnesota cameras, do have a couple of them. Let me see. This is waiting for it to load. There we go. So as we're taking a look in and around the Crookston area, let's see what we're seeing from that cell. Look at the fertile view. My goodness. As you take a look at this, I'm going to pop my camera back up here, but you got this huge towering thunderstorm with a flat base. You can see light underneath the base of it in places. Others, well, the curvature might be taking it a little bit away from us. We have a tornado warning now, tornado warning for climax. So for the storm we're looking at that's just off to the west of the you folks in Beltrami, a tornado warning is in effect. This includes Climax, Nilsville, and these areas. This is a very, very large storm. This one here is looking from Fertile to the north and west. So from Fertile, this is one of the storms that is northwest of you, likely the one causing the warning right now. So as we take a look behind the trees, we see some sunlight coming out the base of the cloud there. That's the updraft part, and there is a rotating couplet that is quite strong. The National Weather Service now says radar indicated tornado. It's not a confirmation of a tornado on the ground, but all the ingredients are indeed there with this cell as it works its way off to the southeast at 35 miles per hour. It is now right over the Red River Valley east of Reynolds. It is east of Reynolds by only about 5 miles to 7 miles and working its way into western Polk County at this time. Seeing if I have another camera that we can take a peek at this cell. Let's go to the Crookston view. That's looking west from Crookston. Not as helpful of a view. Now we go to the DOT cameras on the Minnesota side of the river if we can. And we'll go ahead and take a look at this. If you want to tag friends here, that would be very helpful. Let them know that Hutch is going live with a tornado-warned storm heading into the climax area. I do appreciate that. Ashley, thank you. Got an alert here in Shelley. Is it near me? You are in the general vicinity of this particular storm. We'll get back to the radar. You can see climax, Eldred. Also, if you are in Shelley, the warning, here's Shelley. Here's the tornado warning. It's just north of you. It's moving in this general direction of the climax area and Neilsville right here, and we'll keep you posted as it continues to work its way through. Here's a view from the Beltrami camera. It's located on Highway 9 there as we look around, not seeing much evidence of anything other than what's on the concrete. Let's look north from Hendrum and see if we can get a view of the darkening skies to the north. Not really seeing anything. I'm going to switch views now and look straight south of the Mallory area. You got a beautiful rainbow in there on the darkening skies. You're on the rain side of the storm. Intense rain, but the updraft part that would have the view of anything possibly tornadic would be on the other side. So let's skip the river. Let's go to North Dakota and take a look at some confirmation. If you have confirmation of what's going on, it is indeed helpful. The radar is picking up tight rotation, thus the tornado warning. We're looking outside of the Hillsboro Reynolds area at the darkening skies, and what you see is just that, darkening skies taking place. Deb, good to have you on board. Jay Hosta, thank you so much for joining. Aaron, thanks for tagging people. Ashley, thank you for tagging people. It does help get the word out that we're covering the storm. So we're having a tough time getting confirmation from any of the DOT cameras out there, but if you have details of what's going on, I'm looking for pictures uploaded on hutchesweather.com. Hutchesweather.com is a great place for you to share not only the pictures that you're taking, but also the reports you have. You can leave details in the text messaging of the upload user interface on hutchesweather.com, and it does help. I am approving several photos here. I'm just going to see if I've got any that show the rotating base. Wow, that's a pretty jagged looking edge of the cloud there from that view. So let me go ahead and share what I've got, and again, encourage you. This is, let me take a look. Okay, so we got dark skies aplenty going on across the region. Thank you for your uploads. Let's get right back to the tornado warning now. The tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service, so that you are aware, is for areas in and around the Reynolds area and points east, crossing the Red River into parts of northwest Minnesota. Here is the radar behind me now, so you can take a look with me at what we have going on. It's this storm cell right here. See if I can turn my warning polygons on here. I'm not sure why those turned off. Let me see if I can get them on quickly. I will do that later. Here is the warned storm for the tornado. It's right here. There is the hook right there. This is a cloud that's burping in on the backside. That's called a gust front. That gust front is likely generating a cloud along the leading edge that the radar is able to detect there. That's what we're seeing right here where there's a bite taken out of the storm. That is the hook echo. We call it a hook because it resembles a fish hook. Rotation in the cloud acts like a centrifuge, throwing raindrops and hailstones out of that centrifuge. So if the velocity that we can see on the Doppler radar is in this precise point, then we have a pretty good bead on exactly where that rotation is being picked up. Here we go. And in that exact area, boom, we got reds next to greens. It's strong green or motion toward the radar in Mayville. This is weak motion away, but in that area is the area of rotation. It is moving towards climax right now. It is moving in that general direction of you at 35 miles per hour. Pardon my bad drawing there. Let me try again. So if you're in climax, you are in the direct path of this storm, and let's put it in at the best I can do is 34 miles per hour. It's going to be very close. Let's go with by 8:10. You have 9 minutes to seek shelter in an interior room of the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Get off the river, get out of the anything that's like a camper or a car, and get away from this particular storm, dangerous storm, working its way through. You want to put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. So when you get on the lowest floor, try to think of a hallway with no windows. That's safer than being in a room with windows. Then in that hallway, do you have a closet? Do you have somewhere where you can get into to give you even another wall of protection from debris flying from a storm like this? So again, the tornado warned storm, it is observed now. So let me take you up to the guidance on that from the National Weather Service. Here is a look from the National Weather Service. A tornado warning is for an observed tornado, considerable damage possible. This tornado warning remains in effect until 8:45, and it is for areas of Polk, also Grand Forks, and Trail counties in the path. At 7:58, a confirmed tornado was on the ground. Extremely dangerous tornado and confirmed large. So please, please heed the warnings of this dangerous storm. It's 7 miles east of Reynolds at the time of this observation. We're 16 miles south of Grand Forks. It is not moving into Grand Forks. It's moving away from you at 35 miles per hour. Phone alerts went off in Crookston, but so far no sirens. Thank you, Brooke, for your update. And if you do have a question or comment, feel free. This is a life-threatening and dangerous situation. That, again, I will repeat this. This is a large, observed tornado on the ground. Hutch, they'd never cross rivers. False. They've crossed rivers plenty of times. It's moving right into the river valley right now. So please, I repeat here, basically, a large, extremely dangerous, and possibly deadly tornado is heading right towards climax right now. It is about 10 minutes away from the climax area right now. Seek shelter on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Get out of manufactured homes. Get out of mobile homes. Get out of homes that are not directly attached to the foundation. Get to the lowest floor and make sure it's an interior room. If you live in one of these other structures, by the way, maybe it's maybe you're in a apartment building. You want to be on the lowest floor, and again, away from windows. So let's go ahead and take you back to the radar right now and get you located on the location of the storm at the latest. It is right here is the rotating part of the storm, and it is moving right towards climax. I would call it right there. Let me go ahead and erase this, and let's get a clearer view. Again, a large tornado confirmed on the ground right in this vicinity. Here is a look at the regular radar data. So let's go ahead and pull that up, pardon me, while I switch the button over. So right here, it's right over and entering the Red River Valley right now. It is moving towards climax at the bend on Highway 75 as you're going north of climax. Climax is in the direct path of the rotation. It is right here. That's where the tornado likely is, and it's moving to the southeast at 35 miles per hour. The distance that it is away from climax is only 5 miles. It's only 5 miles moving at 35 miles per hour. So you need to be in that tornado protection area. Here is the best timing. I'm going to cheat a little bit. It's a 35-mile-per-hour movement. I'm going to have to back up and redraw that. Clear it, redraw it. Okay, so here is the tornado warned storm. To redraw it, going 35 miles per hour, which is its last speed of movement measured by the Weather Service. 8:11 it will be. You have 6 minutes in climax. Beltrami, this storm is moving in your general direction as well. 8:34. Deb, thanks for joining. Thanks for Barbara for sharing in East Grand Forks. And let's see, if you have a bike helmet, you can use it to protect your noggin. That is shared by Carol. Thank you very much. If you do, when you do get into your safe place, you want to cover your head. So if you have a bike helmet there, take it with you. You don't have time to search through your carts now or your closet or your garage if your bike helmets are out there in climax. This storm is just a couple of minutes away from you. A large confirmed tornado on the ground moving in towards climax. It looks like it will pass north of Nillsville. This whole area is under considerable damage threat from this very dangerous rotating storm. Again, south of Grand Forks, here's the storm. I'll give you a big bird's eye view of it right here. There's the latest scan that's just come in. Red Lake County, you have a strong thunderstorm making its way in towards Red Lake Falls right now, this moving east-southeast. So Red Lake Falls and points south of there, that storm is quite strong, has the potential for up to 1-inch diameter hail. If you're in Fargo, we have non-severe storms heading toward the Red River Valley Fair right now. There's not a lot of lightning detection from that event as I can see right now, but I can tell you that we do have some rain and some possible small soft hail heading into the FM area briefly from that cluster of cells. Again, a confirmed large tornado is on the ground crossing the Red River Valley right now. If you're in climax, you should be in your safe space. The lowest floor, the basement is best. Get out of rooms with windows. I, in my home, have windows in my basement right now. And as I look around, the safest place for me to go to be in an interior room is under a stairwell. So that's a good idea. Shoes, grab shoes if you have them nearby in case there's debris when you're walking out of your safe place. So that's a very good reminder there. Lauren, thank you very much for that. Hey, everybody. Susan, yep, it's, I know I wish I could say it isn't so. Is it going towards Erskine where our camper is? Troy, Erskine is a little ways down the line from that. So if you take a look at the big map, there's Erskine behind my ear ball over here. And this storm is moving east-southeast towards Beltrami in that general direction of northern parts of Norman County eventually. But it's not moving at a very fast pace. It's about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So this storm, very dangerous. It had a tornadic signature attached to it. We also have this cell moving off to the east here on the north side of it. So if you're in Crookston, you'll get yet more thunder shower and thunderstorm activity. Here's the main event with the rotating part of the storm moving into climax as we speak. Expected to be there in 2 or 3 minutes. 1-inch diameter hail detected up at cloud level. Doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to reach the ground. That's heading in the general direction of areas just south of Red Lake Falls here. So anybody to the west of Red Lake Falls got a 1-inch hailer. Potential for severe hail of 1 inch is 50%. So there is a chance that we could get some fairly sizable hail from that cell in a few isolated spots moving along and south of the Red Lake Falls area. As we look around, we do have a stout thunderstorm that's exiting up into parts of Manitoba now from Kitson County. It also has hail potential north of Lake Brunson out there, and a lot of storms dancing in and around that Lake Brunson area out there as we go through. Speaking of the Red Lakes area in Bemidji, we have some weaker thunderstorm cells showing up near Gully, north of Clearbrook, heading toward the south shores of the lower Red Lake on Highway 1 there. Not severe, not expected to be severe. And in Fargo, we are about 20 minutes away from the core of this storm, making its way in at about 30 miles per hour. It is moving towards Fargo. It is moving toward the fairground area, but it may pass north of the fairgrounds, and that would be good. So again, stay away from the metal rides. If you see or hear rumbles of lightning, it's best to get to an indoor site. But again, a tornado warning for this storm that is moving over climax, here is one area of rotation. There looks to be another hook forming on the backside. Sometimes these storms do cycle, and it's a possibility. Let's see where the velocity couplet is showing up on this storm right now. So again, if you're in climax, rotating storm with tight rotation and a confirmed strong tornado is on the ground, as it's working its way over the river valley right now. It is right over climax with that rotating part of the storm right now. On the backside, there could be some reorganization of this storm. Here's a look at the shear markers with this storm as it's moved from here right into the climax area. There is still some shear associated with that particular storm. So let's go back and take a look at the regular old-fashioned velocity data here, and we can see if we can see from the Mayville radar, which is right here, wind blowing toward the radar here, and right into climax is this couplet right there. That is the location of the rotation in this particular storm, heading right into the climax area, areas north of Nillsville on the Highway 75 corridor out there. As you're looking away from the storm, this is movement away. That is not the tornado part with the red and green there. This is the rotating tornadic part of the storm, and I am seeing somewhat of a redevelopment possibly on this backside of the storm over here, possibly with some velocity and spin with it. Again, I'll take a look at my information from the National Weather Service and from you for the uploads that you have been so happily sharing with me. Thank you very much to Mason. Mason, thank you for sharing your hail picture out in North Dakota in the Lankin area of Walsh County. Let's show that to you here. Again, when it is safe to do so, I encourage each and every one of you to upload your photos. Make sure they're your photos. You can upload them here on Hutch's Weather to share them with us in the weather community on what's coming our way. This was in Lankin in Walsh County. This was not far from where the tornado warned storm was in that area. Megan, thank you so very, very much. This is Mason, storm chaser, intermediate level, and by golly, he found you a 3.5-inch diameter hailstone 6 miles west of Lankin. Future meteorologist in the making, and I can tell that my good friend there, Mason, has been bitten by the weather bug for sure. Heavy rain in and around East Grand Forks taking place, and now we're going to take a look and see. I also got some folks traveling down in Yankton uploading photos of just a deluge. In southern South Dakota, there is another area of a tornado watch down there with some nasty storms, and we did get video of the tornado. This was taken from the Calvin area, south of Calvin, looking south at this tornado. Basically it says here, looking to the south from slightly east of Highway 20 and Highway 5. So you're looking south of that Calvin area, and there's the pipe from that big tornado, and likely that storm with the updraft there capable of the sizable hail being lofted in the atmosphere. So thanks to all of you for uploading your photos. Good to have you on board, Mike. WTF, Mike. Thank you. Obviously, it's North Dakota. We in North Dakota, and we are in North Dakota with this coverage right now. And Minnesota, I should say, greater Minnesota. Here we go, back to the radar, and we do have a couplet here making its way right through climax, right here, and it's working its way to the south and to the east at 35 miles per hour. There is another one seeming to organize on the backside of this storm. And so I think that you need to stay in your tornado shelter and your tornado safe area. If I switch back to the regular radar data, you got one hook here and another one that's kind of forming on the backside. Again, no all clear has been given. This storm had produced a large, dangerous, and likely damaging tornado and possibly deadly tornado. So a large confirmed tornado was on the ground. It's moving into the climax area right now as we watch it cross into the Highway 75 corridor here of northwest Minnesota. Red Lake Falls, what are you seeing? There's a thunderstorm there capable of some sizable hail. Up to Nichols, maybe even up to 1 inch in diameter, pushing right towards the western reaches of Red Lake County now and pushing in toward Red Lake Falls and points south toward the Highway 2 corridor. So it's along and north of the Highway 2 corridor where that cell is making its way in. It looks like the Fargo area is seeing the storms make their way in toward the West Fargo Fairgrounds, and right here at the curve on the interstate is right where all the fairgoers are right now. And right now, that storm is staying to the north. There are no real severe risks with that particular cluster of cells. It was severe earlier with hail up in the Page area and the Hope area. That storm has really diminished in intensity as it's worked its way off to the east. Tornado warning does continue for the storm. I'm going to get some information directly from the National Weather Service office on this. Again, thanks for your uploads to Hutch's Weather and hutchesweather.com. So here we go. Let me see what the Weather Service is saying here. We do have circulation, Grand Forks County, tornado warning. Just received on the ground 7 miles east of Reynolds, taking a southeast track. May be prone to deviations from that track. We got a couple of pictures that are starting to show up on some of the different media outlets here that I'm able to see, but not necessarily able to share at this particular time. So again, we do have a tornado warning for you folks in the climax area right now. This storm is particularly a strong tornado was confirmed on the ground. This is the couplet, and that's the hook echo that was associated with the warning when it was first issued. Thank you, Mr. Mike, WTF Mike, watching on my YouTube channel. Hey, are you watching in HD on the big screen? Let me know how it looks. I hope I look okay here. We're broadcasting in 1080i for you. And here is a look at that couplet there and that area of concern moving right over climax. So again, rotating storm, big time hail core on the north side, updraft side of the storm moving over climax with that little finger or appendage that we call a hook echo. That's where the rotation is with this particular storm. I'm going to look now as we analyze this particular storm for a couple of other pieces of evidence that there could be a tornado. And where we have the circulation, we have blue. What is blue? This is a very low similarity to targets next to it. So if we send out a pulse from the radar and it's oriented horizontally like this, and another pulse is oriented vertically like this, if we have objects that are different shaped, not round shaped, a hailstone that's round will give us the same energy back from both pulses. But if it's a piece of debris that might look like this, that's longer on one side than the other, then it's going to have a different energy back from each of the pulses. And what we're noticing here is the similarity is not very similar over climax. So that could very well indicate that we do have some debris lofted in the air in and around that storm. And here is a look at target differences. Red, highly different, same area, right in the same spot over climax. So my concern is for you folks in climax right now. That tornado is likely right over your area. Josh says, just sent a couple of pictures looking south from Alvarado at that storm over climax. Let's get to it. This is what makes Hutch's Weather great, and it's you helping me help all of you. Sounds like a movie, a line out of a movie, but that's indeed what you guys are all doing. So let me see if I can upload these photos and take a look at them and share them with you. So we do have, let's see. Okay, the climax storm. This is, thank you so much for uploading. Let me approve that. And the climax storm as viewed from Alvarado. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we'll take a look at what this storm looks like altogether as we take a look at Hutch's photo upload page on hutchesweather.com. And as we take a peek at this, you can look at the stuff that's been shared. And here is a look at that storm towering up from Alvarado, looking down to the south, the updraft part of the storm. There's no way from Alvarado that you're going to see through the raindrops and to the updraft part of the storm, but you can see we have a powerful tower working its way in towards the climax area right now. There's a lot of low-hanging clouds, a lot of wave-shaped clouds that are going in and around this storm, and I really do appreciate you sharing with me your photos that you took right there. And as it's safe to do so, Josh or anyone else, I encourage you to do so. Go to hutchesweather.com, and if you get there, you're going to see the viewer pick section here, or there's a big section with a big button for you to hit for uploading on the main page just a little farther down. Russell, good to have you on from St. Louis, Missouri. I appreciate you guys have your own weather going on down there. Will it hit lower Red Lake? Mom's there. Carol, there are some storms heading in that lower Red Lake area as we take a look at the regular radar display here. Let me go back to it. Right now, we have a couple of cells that are very weak moving towards the lower Red Lake. The upper Red Lake to the north of it, heading into Koochiching County up there, we do have some stronger storms working their way in. So here's what we have. Tornado warned storm. The tornado warning has been dropped for the North Dakota side of the river. It's all Polk County now. That's where the rotation is. It is over climax and exiting out of climax out there. And we'll keep our eyes on that. Really appreciate it. Need me back on TV. Shirley, I'm so happy to do what I do now, where I do it, because you know why? I can go on and basically continue to analyze this with you at my side and with your input. So I appreciate that. Ashley, beautiful rainbow picture. Couldn't get the pictures of the clouds uploaded though. Thank you. Ashley says, you said the direction it's going, fertile Beltrami. Does that still look like the course? Yes. This storm is right here. It's moving southeast at 30 miles per hour as of the latest measurement from the National Weather Service. We still have that Doppler radar indicated tornado. There was confirmation of a large tornado on the ground with a dangerous situation unfolding with the size of that tornado. So that's what it is, moving southeast at 25 is their latest estimate. So let's track this now. We know just by this little hook location and the other clues that I went over on the radar that this is the rotating part of the storm right here. It is now moving through climax and on its way to the southeast at 35 miles per hour. So if you are in Beltrami, you are about, as the crow flies, well, not very far from it. Let's go see how this goes. 35 miles per hour. We'll put it in or around Beltrami. I just said 25 though. I better get that correct. Moving at 25 miles per hour. Please accept my apologies there. Let me get this correct. Here's the latest location of the rotation. Moving southeast at 25 miles per hour puts it in Beltrami by 8:50. So you got about, well, 28 minutes or so before that rotating storm makes its way towards you. If you're in Beltrami, right where my finger is, looking this way, you may not see anything but a hail core and rain coming your way. You may not be able to see it. You will likely get some rain and the rain clouds first before you get that potential for the rotating part of the storm to be over you. So if it continues to show signs of rotation, right now, Beltrami, as far as your community goes, you are not in the tornado warning. It cuts off just off to the west of you just a little bit. And fertile, the storm could be in your area by 9:16 as we go into the evening hours. Really, when we take a look at the big picture, what we do notice is that we only have a couple of ball games in town. The rest of the thunderstorm activity right now, isolated in nature as it is, they're all strong storms. Red Lake County, Hutch says up to 1-inch diameter hail from that cell. Tightly rotating tornado warned storm in Polk County heading out of the climax area and towards Beltrami right now. Seek shelter from that tornado warned storm. We do have a strong storm capable of nickel to 1-inch diameter hail that's moving up along the international border there and into parts of southern Manitoba, just north of Lake Brunson, out there in the Kitson County area. A stout thunderstorm in Lake of the Woods County sneaking off in towards that Rainy River area here as we go into the evening hours. It is below severe weather criteria. So that's what's going on. And what we have going on in Fargo is that little cell really raining itself out as it works its way through. You might get a raindrop and that's about it. Ty James says Red Lake Falls, it back to the sun on the north with moderate rain. So now that storm moving through your area is bringing along a little sunshine. I do have an update from the Weather Service here. Let me gather that, please. It looks like they've canceled the thunderstorm watch for a few of our counties, so let's go over that too. Nelson County was just dropped from the watch, as was the Steele. Is that right? Yeah, a couple of counties have been dropped out of it. I will read this so that I don't say counties that aren't. For Nelson and Steele counties, the thunderstorm watch has been canceled for those areas. So it does remain in effect for a few counties out there, but they've canceled Grand Forks County. They've canceled Griggs Steel Trail counties. as well as Nelson counties from the thunderstorm watch. So that's good news, as the risk is now out of those areas. Will Twin Valley see anything? These storms here, as you take a look, are going to skirt very near your neck of the woods there in Twin Valley and on that Highway 32 corridor here. So as you can see, Wobbin, White Earth, Winger, Erskine, these areas all have a chance at seeing some of these storms work their way through. Twin Valley would be in the general path of these storms as they work their way through. But do keep in mind, these are two strong cells with another one now forming over the Crookston area once again. So this is three cells. You could be split by those storms easily. It's not one solid wall of thunderstorm activity. Looks like I got more data and more pictures coming in. Thank you very much for uploading your photos, everybody. Thanks, Nathan. I appreciate that. And again, thank you very much, Megan, for uploading the Storm Chasers hail report out there. 3.5 inch hail, 6 miles west of Lincoln. So let me report that to the Weather Service. I'm not sure that they got that. So one other thing that we do is when you report it to me, I report it to the Weather Service. Okay, I pass that report on to the National Weather Service so they have it in their records, and here we go. So a lot of pictures getting uploaded. I will share them with you as time becomes available. But again, the tornado warning does continue for southwestern Polk County, including areas between Climax and Beltrami. Beltrami is not in the tornado warning. This tornado warned storm, the warning is in effect until we get to the hour of, let's see, 8:45. So it will be in effect for the next half hour or so as the storm works its way off to the south and to the east. In Beltrami, there's some clouds starting to make their way towards you. Let's go to the DOT camera right there in Beltrami. There's one on Highway 9. Let's see if it can give us a bird's eye view of what's coming into the Beltrami area. Here is a look at that camera. This was taken at 1:46 p.m. That's a little old, so I think something must be wrong with this particular camera, and it's not giving me updated photos, so I'm glad I looked at the timestamp on that particular puppy. Let's look at it from Hendrum from the south and see if we can see anything. No, I'm not seeing much of anything there. Okay, so that's what's going on here right now. Active tornado warning, storm moving out of Climax. Here is an interesting signature on the radar display here. We have what's called an outflow boundary on the south side. This is from this storm burping out rain and hail and causing a gust front. That's moving out along with it. Here is the rotating part of the storm. Sometimes this outflow on the backside of the storm can undercut and take away the updraft into the tornado, but I'm not sure that that's what's going on here. We still have had some pretty significant evidence of rotation with this storm. Here's the latest. In the area just outside of Climax, we still see some areas of unorganized shear as it's working its way in the general direction of, well, just south of Climax and towards the Nillsville area out there as well. Let me take a look at a couple of other markers on the storm here to see if I'm seeing. Let me just look at straight velocity. Okay, so we have motion toward the radar here and away from the radar here. So a broad rotation showing up right here just outside of Climax, heading in the general direction of you folks in Beltrami. So if I take the location of that rotating part of the storm and move it southeast at 35 miles per hour, that puts it in Beltrami by 8:47. So as we approach the expiration of the warning, the rotating part of the storm would be in your area. This is a Doppler indicated tornado now. Earlier it was reported that there was confirmation of this tornado, a large tornado on the ground. Here is a look at the watch box that's been redrawn now. We have dropped all the counties out to the west. There is still the Trail County area, but Griggs and Steele County are out, and the Barnes County area is out. Moorhead is still in it until this line goes through. Once this line goes through here, then our risk of tornado or, excuse me, severe thunderstorm producing clouds and storms out of our area. The watch is in effect until 10 o'clock. Just uploaded a picture. west of Gary. You can see outflow rotation on the southern edge. Dustin, thank you. Can't wait to see that. I'll effort to do that right now. If everybody is in agreement here, we can take a look at what you are sharing with us. Oh my gosh. This thing is a huge storm. Northwest side of Grand Forks from a little earlier at 6 p.m. That was a huge one. Chris, thanks for uploading your photos. Just incredible views. Whoo! That was one supercell mothership is what some folks call it. Dustin, here's your photo. I appreciate it. Let's take a look at that. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, and then we got another photo here from a storm south of Grand Forks, 6 p.m. Thank you, Destiny, for uploading. Let's go right to those photos now so you can see what I see. Here we go. This is a view of the storm with the tornado warning. The tornado warned storm is moving right towards you folks in Beltrami. There's still a hook echo right there. Okay. Moving out of the climax area. So that is area of, actually, this is the area of concern. This looks more like what I would call a V notch on the front where it's moving towards. So we'll double check that information. But what I'm seeing on my velocity radar over here and the reflectivity radar here is that we do have the rotating part of the storm here. And then we've got a notch cut out on the front side of it moving in the general direction of Beltrami. The rotating part of the storm is indeed, it is indeed right here now. That is where I'm seeing the tight rotation. So moving towards you folks in the Beltrami area, you'll want to seek shelter. Get to the interior room of a sturdy structure. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the picture. And one moment here while I mute my mic. I'm not going dead. I need to mute my mic here for 1 second. And that's what I will do. All right. Okay. So that's what's going on in Beltrami. Here's the rotating part of the storm now. I think it's kind of cycled a little bit. There is an outflow boundary that's on this side of the storm, which is where the other rotation was. I'm just southwest of the storm, says Jason. If you're southwest of the storm, Jason, let me see if I can see what we're seeing here. Let's see. Is it going towards Monoman? Okay. All right, so let me get to the pictures that we said we would show you, and here we go, hutchesweather.com, to the photo upload section we go. Look at the one that was just sent from west of Gary, taking a look at this particular storm, and you can really see a lowering of the cloud base here. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Long leading edge, huge towering thunderstorm, big updraft produces these billowing clouds rising up into the sky. Underneath the cloud here, you see a rain-free base over here. This is the updraft part of the storm. That little tail going on there can be caused by a number of things, including the outflow from the storm. Chad, thank you so very much for your share of support on my YouTube channel. It's incredible. Thank you. Thank you. As you take a look, there's a lowering of the cloud base right there. It's attached to the parent thunderstorm. That is a wall cloud, and that's the dangerous part where likely a tornado would form. Most tornadoes, or many tornadoes, form within a wall cloud if the wall cloud is rotating. And Dustin said it looked like there was rotation. It's very hard to see from a distance away, but if you time lapse it, it becomes more clear that you have rotation in the storm. These clouds have been mean all night. Look at this mothership, right, Chris? Holy buckets on the north side of the northwest side of Grand Forks, North Dakota. That mothership was coming through. That is a Shelfie McShelferson on the leading edge of the storm out there, and you do have just these striations, almost a corkscrew appearance to those puppies. Chris, thank you for uploading your photos. I do appreciate it. Here's another one from Chris on the northwest end of Grand Forks as that storm, that menacing storm, made its way through. And there were multiple storms that passed just north of Grand Forks. Here's Dustin from Gary looking at the storm right now that has the tornado warning on it, heading towards Beltrami right now. And there is a look from South Grand Forks by Destiny of that mothership storm that is now working its way off to the east. So thank you all for your photos. Now let's take a look at what we have. And if we get anybody out there that happens to have confirmation of what you're seeing in and around Beltrami, if you're a trained spotter, great, you can help. If you're not a trained spotter, get into your tornado safe place now if you're in Beltrami. According to the National Weather Service forecast office here, this warning is expected to be in effect until 8:45. It is now 8:34, so for the next 10 minutes. But the rotating part of the storm, as Hutch is looking at it now, appears to be approaching Beltrami right now. So let me go back to the radar display here, and this is what we're seeing. In and around Beltrami, we do have some what we would call a velocity couplet that's showing up on this outside part of the storm here. Let me see if I can go get a look at the motion of the storm added or subtracted in. And as we look in on the Beltrami area, I don't see bright greens next to bright reds, so that's a good thing. So we do have that shear that's in the storm, and that shear, there's a couple different areas of it, one near Beltrami here and some more out here on the west edge of this storm. I'm assuming we do have Shelfie McShelferson. Oh yeah, that's just a name that I kind of threw in there because it makes weather to learn a little bit about what it is these clouds are showing you and me together, so we can learn together. Geronimo, is this coming towards Foston? Generally it is heading in the direction of Foston, but it's moving at about 30 miles per hour to the southeast, so it could pass you guys to the south. I'll keep my eyes on it. So this is the area of concern. The warning was for the areas outside of Beltrami. The storm is approaching Beltrami in this time. I would seek shelter if you're in or around this particular rotating storm as it continues to show some evidence of shear and spin. Right here, that's the outflow boundary. Target similarity is different. Why? Because it's kicking up junk into the air and we get targets that look different than the target that's next to them. And also actually the same target looks different with two different oriented beams, horizontally and vertically. So this means we have some oblong shaped things right along this line here moving through Nillsville. Right here is where I'd have the couplet. There's blue inside there. That's where the rotating part of the storm is. So right here, this is a better confirmation of where we may be having it. Now let's look at target differences. And if this area right here has a difference in it. Let's see if I can put my little pencil on here and draw a circle. Let's go there. If that same area, watch that area. If it's bright red in here, then we have target differences. So we do have target differences all the way out here, stretching out across areas near Beltrami. So target differences could be things like debris in the air. It doesn't mean that it is, or it could be lofted up. So we don't know for sure what is going on the ground out there with this particular storm, but it still does show some pretty nasty evidence that we could have tornado. Here's the original tornado trained spotter report of the tornado on the ground 6 miles east of Reynolds. And that's where the comment was made that it was a large tornado and a dangerous tornado. So spotter confirmed that. You can see where it was, and now you can see where it's moving in the general direction of you folks in the Beltrami area right now. So here's a look at the radar view. Let this load. It'll take just a second. Okay, let's not wait a second. Let's go to this radar view. Okay, so in Beltrami here, we've got this rain on the north side of town, moving right into Beltrami and points east on, I think that's County 1 here, making its way between Beltrami and Fertile. And we do have a hail core that's heading in this general direction as well. The hail risk from this particular storm is not zero, but it doesn't look like it's as big as it was. The Weather Service warning has just been allowed to expire for the tornado warned storm. So let me go back and just verify that this is what the Weather Service has. I've got pictures coming in aplenty, so thanks to all of you for sharing your pictures. We'll get to a couple of those. And again, thank you so very much. Is it heading towards Mahnomen? In a general sense, it's heading towards Mahnomen County, but it'll be a while before it gets there, Dustin. Thank you for your question. I do appreciate it. Let's see. As we take a look, the warning is expired. The National Weather Service says all right, so no news on this. So no news is good news. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire by the National Weather Service for this Beltrami area storm. There's still some rotation with this storm. It's not as organized as it once was, as we went back in time a little bit ago. The hail threat is kind of coming down out of the storm just a little bit as well. If you are in the path of this storm, this one has a history of producing sizable tornado. This would indicate to me that there's a lot of outflow coming around the backside as the rain and hail falls out of it. It's creating bursts of wind and leaving this outflow boundary. If you're in Halstead, you might notice that. I'll take you now to a look at the DOT camera on the Halstead side. As we take a look at that, we'll try to get a peek at what we're seeing from Beltrami too. So let's go to Minnesota first. Let's pull it up in the Beltrami one. It was it was from 1 o'clock this afternoon earlier. So let's see if it's updated any more timely. Nope. So that camera I think is offline right now. I'm not able to get anything from it, but a little bit farther to the south at Halstead, we could take a look at that camera. And we see some dark low-hanging clouds, nothing of concern. And I'm not able to see up at the cloud level that I would like to see. But that's just the way it rolls when you're using DOT cameras that are looking at road conditions, right? So thanks to the DOT. This is from Monoman. It doesn't tell me what direction this is. I'm looking to see if it has text on here. It doesn't say. This is view 3 from Monoman at some storms. The only storms in and around Monoman right now, as I look at it, are due north of you in Red Lake County, and this big one moving through the area of Beltrami right now. So if this is along US Highway 59, that one is running north-south through Monoman County, and it's looking across. It's probably looking at the one that's probably the storm that's in that Beltrami area right now. So that's a view of the storm from there. We cannot see or witness anything there that tells us whether there's funnel clouds or wall clouds. It's just simply too far away. Okay, back to your photos that you've uploaded. I'm going to get the radar back out. But as of right now, Red Lake Falls, Thief River Falls, all the storms are south of you, and south of Red Lake Falls, Brooks, the Brooks area, seeing a stout thunderstorm that will be making its way into your area right now. This is all moving east, Brooks to Oakley, and near Red Lake Falls, south on Highway south on Highway 32 as you go through Fertile and through Gary. And then moving along Highway 2 is this cell moving out of Crookston, working its way off to the east. Here is the big storm that prompted the tornado warning. We still have some lightning associated with this storm falling outside of the rain area of the storm. So some intense lightning flashing here just a few moments ago, about a minute and a half ago. South of Beltrami, north of Ada. We do have a cell starting up now, just firing in and around the Borup and Ada area. So we'll keep our eyes on that south of Ada and south of Borup, right on the Clay County line. And that's what we have going on right now. We do have a smattering of thunder shower activity continuing along the international border, crossing out of Kitson County, as you can see, right into Roseau County. I live in the trailer park in Crookston, Chris says. Thank you. Somebody's asking about the Nevis area. I just drove through Nevis today. Beautiful country on my way back from the North Shore. And well, as you take a look at what's going on here in the Nevis area, I'm going to have to get a different radar view for this so you can see all the different radars loaded up here and kind of sewn together. So Nevis, you are in a whole lot of quiet right now. These storms are moving east-southeast and moving in this general direction, but they're isolated. There's one big storm here, one pretty big storm here, and a cluster in that Koochiching County area. So 1, 2, 3 storms right now, maybe a developing one. It's going to be hit and miss. I cannot predict what town is going to get hit by a thunderstorm. When they get close, we can do what's called nowcasting, and that's what you've seen me doing now. I do have a report here from Sarah of organized rotation east of Highway 102 in County 48. So thank you for that. East of Highway 102 and County 48. So as we take a look at what's coming through the area here, we have this Red Lake Falls storm here, a couple of them moving along Highway 2 and heading towards Mentor, non-severe right now, and the Beltrami storm here heading in the general direction of between Fertile and Gary right now. The hail risk on this storm has gone down a little bit, as I mentioned on the last couple of scans, but that's what I think now about your area in Twin Valley. I cannot predict what town will see these, but these are moving in your general direction in the upcoming hour. Could the back flow of the storm produce a tornado around the Halstead area? Ashley, thank you for your question. So on the backside of the storm, sometimes these storms go through a cycling of a new updraft on the backside. If it's a new updraft that's rotating, then sometimes we can have a storm like this cycle where the original funnel was here, that one dissipated, but we still have inflow coming into a different part of the storm now. So yes, I cannot rule that out with this particular storm. As I take a look at the high resolution data, it looks pixelated to you, but this is what Hutch needs to see. There is still evidence of a little hook on the back side of this storm, but it's not anywhere near Halstead. Now, we do see this outflow coming towards Halstead. That cloud looks low, probably looks mean as it's coming down to town. Sometimes we can get new thunderstorm development along an outflow boundary. So that is possible as well, that we could see some building of storm activity in these areas. But this is the main line of stuff right here, along with this outflow boundary. And once it moves through, then our risk of storminess is going to be a thing of the past. As I look at this storm moving into Beltrami, we got cores of hail pulsing up. Please know that because that pixel is blue, that is a very strong indication that we have some sizable hail potential with the cell, but that's what's up in the sky at a certain elevation above the ground, because that's how the radar beam goes up. It doesn't mean it's hitting the ground at that particular spot. We don't know until we hear from you what we're seeing. CJ Johnson, you're welcome very much. Chris says Carmen Trailer Park in Crookston. And if you have reports from that area, let me know what's going on. Let me see if I've got more pictures coming in. They were flying in. Oh my goodness. I've got many more. A rainbow in Glencoe. Thanks, BA. Appreciate that very much. We've got a look at Tammy Merkins here, looking north of Halstead. Thank you. That's helpful. Now I can see what it is you're asking about too in the Halstead area. So in and around the Halstead area, that's a great picture. Thank you very much for uploading it, Tammy. I appreciate it. And let me go to this one. I'm trying to clear and upload as many as I can here. And then we'll look at them together. Tammy, northeast of Halstead, looking north. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go pull those up. So here is a storm. Both north and south of Beltrami, you got a hail core here on the south side of town, one on the north side that will be making its way through. Doesn't mean every place is getting hail and everybody's not getting hailed out, but isolated places could see hail of about a ½ inch to nickel size in diameter. And we do have still some evidence of some spin or shear with this storm on the backside over here. But right now what's moving into Beltrami, it looks like a very heavy swath of rain pushing its way into town. The warning for the tornado is done. So for now, there is no tornado warning. You have a strong thunderstorm that has a history of making a tornado right here pushing into Beltrami right now. Just joined in Fertile. Callie, thanks for joining. In the Fertile area, we have thunderstorm activity pushing its way towards you. Not sure if you're getting rain on the ground yet, but the radar is showing some raindrops at cloud level above you. The heavy stuff is just now crossing the Highway 9 corridor, coming along 1 from the Beltrami area toward Fertile. There'll be some hail. There'll be some gusty winds, upwards of 45 to 50 miles per hour. And I'll continue to monitor this storm for any rotation. Here's the latest look at the rotation in the storm, and I do see greens and reds kind of in close proximity, again, to the west of Beltrami. This is where that original rotation was, so there is still some indication of possible rotation west of town. As the crow flies, let me see how far is that west of town. That's 5 miles to the west, southwest. And it says, yep, started to rain just a little bit. Callie, thank you. Just got pretty cold too. Yep, just joined, says Callie. Yep, good to have you on board. And so that means the radar's not telling us lies, and that rain is making its way down to the ground and the temperature's falling in Fertile. So the rain will get heavier in Fertile as this batch that's near Beltrami now makes its way through. A little bit of shear and spin in the storm west of the Fertile area still does exist. Doesn't mean it's a tornado on the ground at this particular time, but we're watching it, and I'm watching it very closely. So that's what's moving into Beltrami. A storm with a history of producing a tornado is now pushing its way toward Beltrami in the Highway 9 corridor. The warning for the tornado has been canceled, and I'm assuming the Weather Service has some partners there keeping their eyes on the storm right now. As I look at the radar data, though, it does appear to me that we do have a couple of areas that are concerning with this particular storm in the area of that outflow boundary there and where the inflow's coming into the storm. There's still a little hook there. More outflow dominant, more gusty wind dominant on that backside, but we'll be watching what's moving into and south of Fertile here very closely. What about the War Road area? Jerica wants to know that. There are some storms in your neck of the woods. These are scooting east-northeast along the international border, and these are moving fairly slow. It's taking them the better part of the hour here to move across the county of Kitson County, so not necessarily the fastest movers. Let me put on the cell measurements of these cells and see what we got. The overall movement of this entire cluster is a little bit north of east, but the individual cells, as you can see, this one says it's moving southeast, this one's moving northeast. So they're kind of just percolating along the border here, which puts War Road in the track of that at about an hour or maybe a little bit more. So it does look like it'll be a little while yet before it gets to you. Got a hail marker on the Brook storm here. This could be, as you see with me, the probability of severe sized hail of 1 inch in diameter is not very good. It's only 30%. So that's why there's no warning for this storm. There's a small chance we could have some hail up to about a 1/2 inch in diameter, though. That would certainly be possible. Bemidji weather, what are your thoughts on Bemidji? I'm thinking we might get some moderate to strong storms in 2 to 4 hours, but nothing severe. Let's go over the forecast real quickly. To answer that question, I'm going to pull up a model real quick. So if you bear with me, we'll take a look together at the latest model forecast. And I'll tell you if I think this model is on to the storm or if it's out to lunch. So here's a look at the most recent model output, and it shows these storms kind of festering and fizzling out. You notice Beltrami County right here as we go through midnight and beyond. So it's a long ways out, and those storms just kind of percolate in the same area through the overnight hours all the way till about 5 a.m. They kind of rumble through the Bemidji area, the Black Duck area, the Walker area, as you see on that particular model. This model's not starting out too bad. It's pretty close to what reality is right now, so I do think it's doing a pretty decent job. Here's a model that was run earlier in the day. Let's see if it says anything. All right, here we go. All right. Apparently that model doesn't want to load, so I'm going to try a different one. There we go. This one was run quite a bit earlier. We did see some morning storms move through. Here's the afternoon round that started in the afternoon. It has it moving through the Northern Valley. This model did a great job with this. A smattering of hit and miss showers and thunderstorms has it moving through as we go through around the 10 o'clock hour. The Red Lakes area, Bemidji area could see some thunderstorms walking out and about as we go through the 10 to midnight time frame. So according to that model, and according to the movement of these storms, yes, there is a chance of storms in Bemidji, but as I've said here a few times now, it's really almost impossible, if not impossible, to pick what city's going to see that storm move right through their area. It's not a solid line. These are isolated in nature, and that's what we have going on. So as we take you back to the radar, we do have a chance of storms overnight. We got 1, 2, 3 big storms here moving in the general direction of Fertile, moving east-southeast right into Brooks. This is a hail core, 1/2 inch diameter hail, maybe a little larger, possible from that cell. And then Beltrami, we have a hail core making its way into town right now. Little bit of a hook on the backside of that storm. That hook does not extend to you back in the Shelley or Halstead area. That green that you see there is an outflow boundary. You may see a change in wind direction from the wind to the north. Let's take a look at this cool product here I've got drawn out. There's your watch box it's on. And then we got low pressure on the backside of this system right here. There's a low pressure center right there. Okay, and we do have these storms firing along this boundary here. And as we take a look, there's some little arrows of wind, and they're a little bit faint to see, but they show the south winds feeding into the storm. This is feeding more humid air into these cells. Once your wind becomes northerly on the back side of this low, your risk for severe drops down to near zero. So we do have that change that has taken place across Cavalier County, Pembina County, and all the way down through Griggs County, Steele County, and Barnes County. Once the wind changes direction to northerly here in Fargo, our risk of severe weather will be all but done here as well. So we're kind of analyzing this in real time. Kylie says, can you run the path of the Beltrami storm? Yes. Have a good night. Stay safe, everyone. Ashley, thank you. So the Beltrami storm is here. And as we take a look at where it is now, let me see if this will loop it for me here. Let me see. Let's give this a second while it loads. And you can see it's moved from the tornado sighting through climax, and now it's moving into Beltrami on the south side of the storm. We still have some indication of maybe some weak shear, not nearly as strong as it was. That storm is making its way in the general direction of you folks in Bijou and on towards Minot, Mahnomen, not Minot. Okay, so this storm here, if we project it out, will skirt Fertile. And Fertile, you'll be on the north side of the storm. Bijou, Nadawash on the north side of the storm. Here's the south edge of the storm, moving in the general direction of Twin Valley. So this is the path that this storm is taking right now if it stays this same shape. It can wobble a little bit, but the most likely path of this storm will take it in the general direction of you folks in Gary and you folks just north of Ada. So if you happen to be out in the rural portion of Norman County, out near Gary here, that's where the best chance will be. Twin Valley, you could be on the south side of the storm as it makes its way towards you, and Mahnomen may be on the south side of the storm as well. This storm is moving to the southeast. It's moving at 35 miles per hour. So we'll do some Hutch math as we take a look at this storm moving along this path here towards Park Rapids. So that's the path it's currently moving at. That's 75 miles away, moving at about 25 miles per hour. It's 3 hours to Park Rapids. Okay, so as we take a look at the current position of that particular storm, it's here. And how far is it to Mahnomen and Gary along this path? It's about 17 miles. You're looking at about a little over a half hour to Gary, and Mahnomen, you're looking at about 40 minutes to you yet. So the storm system is moving at about, well, 25 miles per hour. You might get some rain here as we get into the 1 hour time frame. So that would be right near 10 o'clock for Mahnomen County, Nadawash a little later, Waban about the same time. All right, that does it, folks. Right now, thank you for the stars. You all are the goodest. I'm going to double check on these photos that have been sent in here. Let me see if I've got some more doozies. I do. Wow, Paul, north of Beltrami. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that very much. Let's take a look at Dustin. Again, from south of Beltrami. Wow, okay. We got to show these. So this is what was moving through the Beltrami area moments ago. And again, hutchesweather.com, that's where you can upload your photos. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going on. So from folks that were in the path of the storm, this is from north of Beltrami, from Paul, just north of Beltrami, at some gray skies making their way in, some mean clouds as it were making their way in across the grain field out there. Okay, so what we're seeing here is a flat base of the cloud, and again, some rain, it looks like on the left side, kind of clouding the picture up. Then we switch to another view from Dustin, south of Beltrami, with what he says is a hail core and heavy rain. And indeed, there was some hail with that cell here. On this side, we see this flat base of the thunderstorm, flat base, flat base, flat base, boom, lowering of the cloud base right there. That's called a wall cloud. That's likely the wall cloud, and wall clouds, if they're rotating, that's the area of the that we'd be concerned about for the development of any possible tornadic activity with the cells as well. This is from Beth Ann in Glencoe in south central parts of Minnesota, enjoying the rainbow in the sky as the stormy weather pushes in and around. This is from Tammy in and around the Halstead area, northeast of Halstead, looking north.
The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning.
Okay, so it looks like we've got a new tornado warning coming down the pipe here. It's for the tornado warning storm in Beltrami. Okay, so let's see what this says. Tornado warning for you folks in Beltrami. I've been with you here covering this because it was still circulating pretty good. It looks like Lockhart is where it's at now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest radar scan here. A new tornado warning is in effect for this storm right now. And if I switch the radar data over just a little bit, and again, thank you to all of you who have shared and efforted to share some photos. Paul, thank you so much for your photos. Here's a look at what's going on with this storm. Let me get this out. Now I can zoom in. So in Beltrami, we see the reds next to the greens. It's right here. That's Lockhart, just south of town there. And that, I think, is the area of concern that we're worried about right now. So reading the National Weather Service's information together, I'll take you back up so we can all do this. Northeast Norman County, you're in the tornado warning, and parts of southern and central Polk County are in the warning. It does include Beltrami, the areas in Beltrami and just south where you're looking at towards Lockhart. This is for until 9:30, capable of producing a tornado 35 miles southeast of Grand Forks, and it's basically moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. Weather spotters reported a funnel cloud. I don't have a confirmation of the exact location of the funnel cloud. That's irrelevant. It's from this storm. We see the little bite taken out at right here, and that is the area. Okay, my data is going berserk here. So here is a look at the cut taken out of the storm right here near Lockhart, just south of Beltrami. That's where the rotating part of the thunderstorm is. We also have some evidence of rotation in other parts of the storm, but the strongest, if I go back to the other radar display showing velocity, you're going to see the greens motion towards Mayville, motion away from Mayville. It's right here as the crow flies. That is from Beltrami, metropolitan downtown Beltrami at the elevator. 4.3 miles to the southwest of town is where that rotating couplet is with the storm. I do not have confirmation of the precise location of the funnel cloud that was sighted with this storm. There's a little evidence of a little couplet starting to take shape in this same area right over here as well. A rotating thunderstorm producing a funnel cloud in and around Beltrami, now in point south, moving into northern parts of Norman County. Let's go ahead and track where this is going now as it's moving to the southeast, and it's moving at a clip of about 20 miles per hour on their latest analysis. So here we go. I'm gonna mark this whole area. Beltrami, the storm is near you now in point south, moving southeast at 25 miles per hour. Puts us in the general vicinity of Gary by 9:38. So if you're in Gary, you have until 9:38 that the rotating part of the storm will be near you. Otherwise, it'll be in rural portions of northern Norman County. So we're talking Lockhart and points north of Ada. Hadler may be in the path of that rotating part of the storm, but particularly, in my opinion, Lockhart, where it's at now, and Gary are in the direct path of this storm. And that's what's going on right now as we head into the evening hours. We do have that tornado warning. Pardon me while I see why I'm not seeing. Pardon me, I'm going to look for my warnings. Here's our watches. Those are the areas of the watch that are still in effect. That's a thunderstorm, not a tornado watch. We actually have a tornado warning in effect. Let me see here. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure why my warning isn't showing up on this radar display, but this is a tornado warning storm. You can clearly see where the greens and the reds are next to each other in this particular display. Spotters did see a funnel cloud reported with this storm. This is very close to Beltrami right now, likely just south of town near Lockhart, and it's moving off to the southeast at 20 miles per hour over rural portions of Beltrami County, north of McIntosh. Yeah, if you take a look, no, we do have the Beltrami storm here. So if you want to get a bigger picture of where this is all taking place right now, south of the Grand Forks area. Okay, so we're looking south of this area, and if you're looking right along the southern border of Polk County, here is where that rotating part of the storm is moving southeast just into Norman County at this particular time. I hope that helps, Katie, with that. as well. So, okay, very good. So what we got going on, a tornado warning. This is for Gary. This is for, and Gary appears to be just on the outside of the tornado warning. Lockhart is in it. The Highway 30 corridor, the Highway 9 corridor, the rotating part of the storm right over Highway 9 right now. As we zoom in just a little bit on the radar, you can see that there's where the greens and reds next to each other are right here. And that's going right over the Highway 9 corridor, just a couple of miles, 4 miles south of Beltrami now, moving southeast in the general direction of Gary. So that's what we have going on this wild weather Monday. We do have some storms heading into the general direction of northern parts of Koochiching County here. Little Fork, International Falls, no warning on that, but a lot of lightning activity from that cell. We do have a strong cluster of cells riding the Roseau County border with southern parts of Manitoba, heading in the general direction of areas north of Roseau and War Road in the upcoming hour. So, couple of storms. The watch remains in effect for the next 50 minutes for severe thunderstorms, and we do have a storm capable of producing a tornado at any moment. Is there a tornado outside of Moorhead? Brandon, I don't think there is any tornadoes outside of Moorhead right now. We do have thunderstorms in and around the Ulen area showing up on the radar, but I'm not seeing anything with regards to what's going on in Fargo. Let me go ahead and take a look at the latest radar scan. So Ulen would be the closest cell to the FM area. That is all. We do not have anything in the area right now that I am aware of that's going through our neck of the woods. I'm going to take you back to a couple of cameras on the Minnesota side of the river from my friends at the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. This is a network of instruments. Also, instruments added have been cameras. So as we go into the Minnesota side of the river, let's see, we do have a camera view in Fertile, and this is a view from Fertile at what we're looking at out there. Let's see, this is looking northwest of Fertile. So this would be looking just north of maybe the Beltrami area, northwest of Fertile. So I can't turn the camera or whatever, but that is showing the sky, the low base of the thunderstorm clouds or the cumulus clouds from that perspective in Polk County. Now, as we take a look elsewhere, I'm not seeing much. Waseca's a long ways from that, so let's go to the southeast North Dakota cameras here, and I'm seeing a lot of blue skies there. South, central, southwest, northeast parts of North Dakota, showing that we are now quieting down in Emerado and most of those locations. This is a view at the towering, well, the sunlight hitting off the back of those thunderstorm towers from Emerado looking to the north and east. So not able to get any views there. Let's take a look at the DOT camera in Minnesota and see if we've got any update to that. We do have a camera in Beltrami on Highway 9 south of town, but unfortunately that camera has been not updated since after 1 o'clock. So let's look from this camera here. This is from the Halstead area. Again, I don't know if we'll get a chance to see that's awful pixelated out there in the distance, so I'm not seeing anything helpful from that camera at this particular time. Looking from Mahnomen, we got 3 views here, and we are seeing, by my ear, some lowering darkening skies with the clouds that'll be heading your way on the outside of 1 hour for Gary, and on the a little bit longer than that for Mahnomen. So that's what we're looking at, tornado warned storm. In areas near Beltrami and points south right now on the Highway 9 corridor, working this way to the southeast at 20 miles per hour, is a tornado warned storm. Funnel cloud was sighted with this particular storm as it made its way into the area near Beltrami, I'm assuming. Northern parts of Norman County, now north of Ada, that's where the rotating part of the storm is. Here's a look with Hutch at the radar so you can see with me what we have going on. So here's a look at that. Let me put it on this one so we can look at the timestamp. Okay, so as we go through the 9 o'clock hour, this is the storm with the rotating part of it. It's south of Beltrami. It's moving this way to the south and east. It almost looks like we have this cell splitting, where this one may head a little bit south and this one might be heading southeast. We'll see if that split does take place. You can see this clear inflow here, or notch being taken out. So we got a couple different storms there starting to either peel apart or show themselves a little bit better. Moving into Fertile, we got rain. The cluster of this thunderstorm activity will dive south of Fertile. Fertile, I do not think you'll have a tornado warned storm to worry about. It may slide just to your south. It is heading in the general direction of Gary, and it's over the Lockhart area right now on Highway 9 and rural portions of northernmost Norman County, north of Ada, north of Anthony, north of Gary, and north of Owakan. So that is what we have going on right now. See if I've got some more photos coming in. You guys are the best for sharing these. Cheryl, thank you from the rural Georgetown area view. Let me see what that's showing. Thank you again. Oh boy, we're getting a ton of photos here. Let's see. All right, I've got to approve these as we go through, and then as that happens, okay, we're going live with this. This is a tornado that was on the ground by Tammy. Thank you for sharing, Tammy. And then Melissa sharing what looks like a funnel near Lockhart. Near Lockhart, that's right on. Hutch was right on the money with the location of the rotation there. Ashley near Buxton. Let's go ahead and take that. I'm sorry I'm delayed, but I do have to approve these pictures so we don't get ones that are not approved. Okay, so let's cancel that. Oh, Joe, thank you, Joe, for sharing your photo by Beltrami. Okay, let's go through these. You're going to want to hold tight. If you are in the path of this storm near Lockhart, there was a tornado on the ground. I have a photo of it, and I'm going to pass that along to the Weather Service, but we're going over that right now. If you're in the path of this storm, it has a history of producing a tornado. Confirmed tornadoes on the ground, not just funnel clouds. I have photo proof of a tornado near the area of Lockhart. So let's get to the pictures. Here we go. Boom, click, click. Here you go. This is Halstead. Now look at that. That's just a rope coming down and twisting through the atmosphere, definitely making contact with the ground. There's debris. This is Halstead looking northeast, 4 miles north and 3 miles east of Halstead, Minnesota. And that is more than a funnel cloud. That is a tornado in contact with the ground, Tammy. Thank you for sharing. This is north of Fertile. North of Fertile, most of the storms have been just south of Fertile, so that's a great confirmation. Bo Boy, thank you very much for uploading your photo. Now check out Rachel and Ada looking from the city limits at the storm north and in Beltrami, Lockhart area, and that's what it looked like from the south. You are not out of the woods. Here's Lockhart. This is a tornado on the ground. You got the outside framework of it right here, and then in the middle, you got this little rope inside it. So some strong winds. That's near Lockhart. Thank you, Melissa Smith. A cell phone pic, and it's happening right now at 9 p.m. So I'm going to pass this along to the National Weather Service now so they know that there's a confirmed tornado that has been seen on the ground. Confirmed debris tornado photo. Let's see. I got to make sure I'm getting my locations correct here. So pardon me. Okay, we got this one. This one was located 4 miles north and 3 miles east of Halstead. There's one. Tornado 1. And then confirmed photo of tornado near Lockhart. Okay, and that timestamp was 9 p.m. I believe. I just want to pass along correct information, Melissa. Thank you so much. Happening now, 9 p.m. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Thank you for your reports. It helps the Weather Service. It helps me. Wonderful photos that you're sharing, and thank you also very much. So we do have tornadoes that have been confirmed by you on the ground. Whoa, near Lockhart. That's not a small tornado. Oh my goodness. Austin, thank you for your shot. Taylor H, thank you for your shot. We got more photos coming in. If you are in the path of this storm, it's over Highway 9 right now. Let's get to the radar. I'll show you that, and we'll go back to a couple of photos. Again, Melissa, thank you for your photo. I've got dandies coming. I want to get to the radar and tell people in the path of the storm what's coming their way. So here we go. Back up to the radar data, and you're going to see a bite taken out of the storm right here over Highway 9, moving away from the Lockhart area. That's a tornado. That's been sighted on the ground and confirmed on the ground. I see now an icon confirming as much over the Lockhart area. So that is a tornado on the ground, and it's heading in the general direction of you folks in Gary. It's got a long ways to go. It's not a guarantee that it'll get there, but if you are in the path of this storm, a confirmed tornado, a couple of confirmed tornadoes have been sighted. You want to get to the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Get out of a manufactured home, a mobile home. If you're camping somewhere, if you have friends staying in the camper, get them out, get them into the interior room of a sturdy structure and get to the lowest floor. Put as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. This storm is moving southeast. It's moving at 20 miles per hour. Here's an analysis for you folks in the path of this rotating storm. Here is the hail core and the rotating part of the storm right here. I'm going to move it to the southeast at 20 to 25 miles per hour. And here it will be in Gary by 9:48 p.m. ETA time for Gary, Minnesota for this storm. It's moving over Highway 9 now. Let's go to another photo that you've shared with me on hutchesweather.com. hutchesweather.com/pics. You can upload your photos and your videos. It's still rotating, but not currently on the ground, says Jessica. Thank you very much for your update on that. Let's go to your photos again, hutchesweather.com. Boom, here we go. Look at this. This is near Lockhart, and that was not a rope. Look at that pipe coming down out of that cloud there and kicking up debris on the ground. I'm assuming that is right that may be Highway 9 right there near Lockhart. This area was just punched in the gut last year with a hailstorm that was just unbelievable in this exact same area, I do believe, last summer. So that was one. Here's another view of this. Taylor H near Lockhart. And look again, now you're seeing the outside kind of rain wrapped or debris getting picked up here, but it's more of a cone-shaped tornado there. Excuse me, it was cone up here, but then it kind of became more rope-shaped on the bottom. Sometimes that's how they end up cycling. Now, this cloud that the tornado is coming out of is a lowering of the main cloud base called a wall cloud. So that's kind of what you look for in that particular situation. Here's another view of that same little rope-shaped tornado inside this debris or rain-wrapped segment on the inside of it. So basically, a lot of clear sky, a very visual tornado. Melissa Smith capturing this and helping Hutch keep everybody ahead of the storm. Thank you so much. Here's a picture from Dustin, south of Beltrami. And again, there is a very flat thunderstorm base, flat, boom, lowering of the cloud base right there. And that's what you look for as to be the area of updraft rotating in. Now, not all these clouds underneath are going to be spinning. They might take funnel shape, but unless they're rotating, and they don't always rotate, wall clouds that is, then that's what you're looking for in these storms. From north of Beltrami, as the storms move through, we had a lot of wild shaped clouds here over the fields of grain here. Paul, thank you so much for sharing your photo from north of Beltrami. The action just to the south of you guys and into the Lockhart area. And then we have motherships like this sailing through the north side of Grand Forks earlier tonight. So this is the main event going on right now. If we take a look at the radar, what was going on earlier for you folks in Red Lake County is really dissipating, not depicitating. And it's falling apart up here. So that's good news for that. This is the only game left in town of significance. As I take a look, there is the tornado warning for the storm, and it continues. If you are in Gary, the Highway 9 corridor, or rural areas in between Gary and Lockhart, right here, this storm is moving to the south and to the east. It's not moving fast. It could have some hail with it as well. And that is a look at what is left. We do have a cell that's trying to form, it looks like, near Shelley. So if I take you to my other radar display, you can see one on the backside of the gust front. You were asking in Hallstead moments ago, can a storm form back here? And I says, I can't rule it out because a gust front can cause a new area of lift. And maybe that's what's going on here. Train spotter, tornado 2 miles north of Lockhart is where that tornado was reported. So thank you again for all of your reports. I think I've got more coming in. So I will double check to see. Now we got more photos coming in. Northwest of Gary. Okay, there's a photo of a, yeah, that's on the ground. Okay, so we got another tornado. Back up in the clouds looking east. Steph, thank you for your photo. You are the best. All of you for sharing. Dustin, another view of the confirmed tornado. Let's go ahead and get to those now. So this is what's going on now. We've got numerous tornado reports in and around Beltrami, point south into Lockhart in particular, from our tornado warned storm tonight. And again, this storm had a severe thunderstorm warning on it, had a tornado warning on it, and it just kept showing some signs of rotation. Look at these brand new photos uploaded. This is Jessica Anderson from northwest of Gary, and it has that same shape leaning out of the cloud. Here you can see the lowering cloud base called the wall cloud. Okay, the main flat part of the thunderstorm base is well above that. Great view of the storm. Thank you for sharing your photo. And in rural portions of northern Norman County right now. Look at this twisting demon here. Steph, east of Shelley. Back in the clouds now, looking east of Shelley. If you have any idea how far that was away, you know that Shelley then is essentially Lockhart's just due east of you. So maybe you're looking at the same thing from a different perspective there is what my guess is. As the crow flies, how far away is that? Let's see. Boom. Boom. Calculate. Close that. Pardon me, I'm doing some silly calculations in my head here. Okay, so Lockhart and Shelley are 14 miles apart. Does this look 14 miles away? Interesting. It may or may not be that far away. Great photo nonetheless. East of Lockhart rather. Dustin, again, similar shape, not quite as leany in this picture, but there's kind of a rope shape, but a good sized tube coming out of that. Confirmed on the ground near Lockhart and Highway 9. And thank you so much, Dustin, for sharing. And this beastly shot here, Austin Carlson, thank you so much. Look at the debris getting picked up there from that puppy as it barked its way over and across Highway 9. And if you look, there are some farmsteads in the path of that particular tornado. So Lockhart, again, another photo. Again, you see some low-hanging, what we call scud clouds. I call them SLCs, scary looking clouds. Oh my goodness. Well, Kimberly, I'm looking out for everybody we can here. And when we get feedback from you like this, telling me what's going on, it really helps in a great way. So here's where the latest position of the rotating thunderstorm is that has produced multiple tornadoes, or at least, well, yeah, it's produced multiple tornadoes. Back on the North Dakota side of the river through Climax area, now reforming some activity in and around the Beltrami area, particularly near Lockhart. Here's a look at the radar. Okay, so as we go ahead and look at the whoopsies, I've got the wrong toolbox out. Here we go. Tornado warning. Only warning in town. Meanest storm in town right here. Rotating part of the storm has now passed the Highway 9 corridor. It's right here. It's moving towards Gary. And this line says it's moving straight, more south. I believe this is to be moving more southeast like this, almost directly towards Gary. Will it still be tornadoing? No way to tell, but it's a dangerous storm and it's heading in your general direction. The latest from the Weather Service on the speed of movement of this puppy, observed tornado, is still moving 20 miles per hour to the south and east. So I'll time that for you on my mapping software here, and we'll go ahead and go from the hail core through the rotating part of the storm southeast. I'm going to go 25 miles per hour. It should be in Gary. It keeps getting later and later. This storm is not moving at 25 miles per hour. It just keeps getting later. 9:56 instead of 9:45 now. So this storm, that little hook that was on the back of it there, seems to be softening or changing shape a little bit, and that could be a good sign for this storm. As I look at the velocity couplet here on this particular radar view, we can take a look and see we still have greens right next to reds right here. It is on the east side of Highway 9 now, and that's where the rotating part of the storm is. There was indeed debris getting kicked up by the storm. There's still target dissimilarity here is what I'd call that. The blues, these objects don't look alike, so there may still be some debris up at cloud level there. Pardon me. And it looks like we've got some hail maybe on this side of the storm, not too far from it where we see the grays here. And the reds could be indicative of some kicking up of some debris as well. So still a dangerous storm, still rotating. Near Lockhart was the last sighting of your sightings of tornadoes in contact with the ground. Thanks to each and every one of you for uploading your photos. I've got more coming in right now. Again, this is so helpful from you. So I really do appreciate this. I've got more low cloud base. These are examples from Gary here, from Jessica, of what these clouds look like. So we'll get back to these. This is what's approaching the Gary area. As we look at the radar view of this thunderstorm capable of producing the tornado with an observed tornado on the ground, Gary, it is how far away exactly? Line measurement, boom, rotating here, Gary here, 10.8 miles from you, but it's only moving at most at about 20 miles per hour, the way it looks to me. Let me show you these photos. Unbelievable pictures of what we're seeing with this storm. Once again, thanks to you for uploading your photos to hutchesweather.com. Check out this wall cloud. Now, this is a teaching moment and a textbook example, but look at this. This is a lowering cloud base right here called a wall cloud. The thunderstorm base is way up here. There's another wall cloud on this side over here. And in the middle, that's where that little ropey style tornado was. But this is a funnel cloud at this time. There may be some debris getting kicked out near the ground, but it looks like it was either lifting or just coming down. So Jessica, what a gorgeous textbook shot of a wall cloud. Wall clouds are where most tornadoes come from. This one came from this other wall cloud on the backside of this storm when it was making its way through the area southwest of Gary. Southwest of Gary, a precise location, if you can, would be helpful. And even type it up here if you get a chance, Jessica. And this says southwest of Gary again. Southwest of Gary would be in the direction of Ada, and I don't see a storm southwest of Gary. Maybe it's from southwest of Gary. That's all I needed for clarification. There is that little low scraper right there called a wall cloud with the sun setting behind it. What an incredible view. Not only from this view do we see that there's no tornado under this wall cloud at that particular time. We see the downdraft part of the thunderstorm here where the rain is, the updraft part here, and here we have some lowering fingers coming out of the base of that cloud. Beautiful shots. Thank you, Jessica, for sharing your photos. Again, if you can, let me know if you're talking about that you were taking the picture from south of Gary. That would be, she's southwest looking north, I'm guessing, says Josh. I think you're right, Josh. I do think so. New tornado warning has just finally showed up on my computer now. So now let's take a look at it. Okay. Here we go. Tornado warned storm Lockhart moving at 10 miles per hour. I was saying it's slower than 20 to 25. It's really crawling. It's an observed tornado. Some hail is possible from that cell again, and it's just crawling out of the Lockhart area as we speak right now. So that's what's going on with that particular storm. And let's go ahead and time that out to Gary now. Again, here is the rotating part of the storm here. Here is the hail core with the storm. So the hail core and rotating part of the storm, I'm going to put it at like that 10 to 15 mile per hour range, and it'll be in Gary. And it got later again, 10-14. In rural parts of the county between Lockhart and Highway 9 and Gary in Norman County, the northwestern quadrant of Norman County. That is where this storm is riding. Thanks again. I heard another picture come in, so while I'm talking, I will try to take a look at what we're getting here. Joe capturing this tornado as well. Joe, thank you very much. And I've got one from Paul. Oh my gosh, look at this. That's a big one. Woo! Holy buckets of steaming pile of steaming stuff. Here we go. Back to your photos. Multiple photos of tornadoes in contact with the ground in and around Beltrami, Lockhart, and this storm is working its way in the general direction of Gary. It's slowing down and taking its sweet time. New pictures to share with you, and they're still coming in, and that's what makes Hutch's Weather, because you get to take part, and I love it. Thank you. It's going through recycling many stages, lots of beautiful pics. Wendy, thank you. That's indeed what it looks like. Let's get to this storm photo uploaded here from a couple of users here just seconds ago. And this is Joe, north of Gary, and then taken north of Gary, looking at this funnel cloud that's trying to make contact with the ground. We cannot see debris kicked up from the ground, so I would have to call this a funnel cloud. But you know what? We've got numerous sightings of this thing making contact with the ground. Now, there's no question in anyone's mind, Paul, you captured a beautiful, look at that trunk tornado, debris getting kicked up all the way from this side, 1 mile northwest of Beltrami. So 1 mile northwest of Beltrami, this puppy was on the ground. I'm going to pass that along to the Weather Service that there was a photo of a tornado 1 mile. Now, picture was taken 1 mile looking south-southwest. Okay, so maybe you were able to see that same one from the different perspective moving through the Lockhart area. That's probably what that is. Incredible picture, Paul. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. Another view of that little rope. And again, hard to tell if that debris is getting kicked up there. More pictures coming in right now. So while I'm on my other window here, look at me looking around at windows, trying to keep up with you, helping me cover the weather. Okay, we do have multiple reports of tornadoes on the ground. Jessica sharing again. Sorry, northwest to all the pictures. Jessica, thank you for helping us clear that out. So we're looking northwest of Ada from your pictures, and I will correct that when I have time to go back and correct it. Russell, thank you so very, very much. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me. Hutch's Weather, hutchesweather.com. If you're on YouTube, slam the subscription button, please. Make sure you hit the dingle bell there to be notified when I'm going live. Trying to do my best to grow that following as well as my Facebook page here. And for now, our concern turns towards the area, or stays in the area of northern Norman County right now, north of Ada, and a rotating storm that has put tornadoes on the ground near Lockhart is now working its way very slowly at 10 miles per hour toward the area of Gary. This is the main event that's going on right now. We do have a smattering of thunder shower activity south of Red Lake and north of Bemidji. This is non-severe. The risk of severe up there isn't zero, but the main event is on the south end of the whip, if you will. And at the southernmost point of that whip, it's crack-a-lackin' with a tornado warning right now for Norman County. So again, a few reports, a lot of gorgeous pictures of the same tornado with different shapes and different times, and that's what we need to verify what's going on inside the cloud. Let's take a look at the velocity display. We still see the bright reds and greens next to each other. I take out the motion of the storm to look at the velocity again, and we still see strong motion toward the radar, stronger or weak motion away. So there is still some spin in the clouds out there. As the crow flies, that's a ways away from the Lockhart area now, and it's a ways away from Gary as well. So moving fairly slowly through northern parts of Norman County is a tornado warned storm with a history of putting tornado on the ground. Observed tornado, it's in effect for the next 26, 27 minutes, it says. And it looks like it was confirmed near Lockhart or over Lockhart, and it is in effect until 10 o'clock is this tornado warning for the next 30 minutes. So we'll stay with you. And thanks to all of you who have uploaded photos to Hutch's Weather and hutchesweather.com. I think I have some messages here. I'm not going to be able to get to every message that comes across all my channels, but I'm sure trying. Mark says, yeah, I'm watching. Thanks for watching, Mark. Good to have you on board. Angela says, we are north of Gary and south of Fertile, looking pretty dark and daunting. So if you're north of Gary and south of Fertile, it's dark. You're going to be in that downdraft part of this storm there. And it looks like, Angela, that storm is going to be mainly bringing the rotating part on the southern side and very heavy rain, maybe even some hail at times on your side of the storm. Let's go ahead and verify that with what we're seeing on the radar reflectivity data. So what I'm looking at is this pink stuff here. That's like this hail core right here. And if you are in this general vicinity, then I would say the hail is the main threat. You are in the tornado warned part of the storm though. So anytime these storms can curve a little bit to the left or to the right, so it's important to just make sure you're seeking shelter. You could end up in a situation where you're hearing rain and hail and saying, "Oh, we're safe," and then have this guy come in on the tail end with its rotation. So if you are anywhere in or near these areas, Fertile, you're out of the main impact part of this storm for both hail right now and for the tornadic part of the storm. You are not in any warning there. But if you're near the northern side of this warning polygon here, this pink shiny thing that says tornado warning on it, that area there, the northernmost side looks to be the downdraft side with a lot of heavy rain, possibly some hail up to about nickel in diameter. And then we have the rotating part of the storm right over here. So let's see what this storm is looking like now. I know I'm getting more pictures because my ding-a-ling's going off here. Let's see. Wall cloud before the tornado came. Whoa, that was big. Okay, thank you very much for that. I hate to comment while I'm looking at pictures and I can't share them with you, but you guys will see them momentarily. Again, thank you for the Red Lake shot too. I know you guys had some wild weather in Red Lake County, particularly on the west side. Tyler, thank you very much for uploading your shots from your perspective. Okay, let's see. I think I got more coming in here. All right, very good. Checking my messages right quick and making sure I'm on path with what the Weather Service is putting out here. So, okay. All right, everybody. We do have tornado warning continuing for the northeastern quadrant of Norman County, north of Ada. Ada, you are not in the tornado warning. You may be able to see it from parts of Ada, particularly the clouds that look like this lowering of the cloud base that we've been seeing so many shots of tonight. That's these puppies here. These low cloud bases are called wall clouds, and here's a great example of that sent by Jessica. This is northwest of the Gary area looking in the general direction of Lockhart. So you got a flat thunderstorm base, and when it lowers like this, those are the areas underneath the storm in the updraft called a wall cloud, and that's a good example of that. Here's another example of what it looked like in and around the Red Lake area. Sunshine showing through on the backside of the storm, and you see all these little areas of convection behind the storm trying to get going, but they just don't have enough upsidence or energy to make it big. Now you tell me, if you're Joe and you're south of Gary and you see this, that wall cloud to Hutch looks like it could be very close to the ground. Now there might be a hill back there. I don't know the terrain all that well like you do. There are some hills and river valleys out there as the Sandhill River is rolling through. But look how low that wall cloud is to the ground. Some tornadoes in Tornado Alley in particular, when we see them, you cannot differentiate between the wall cloud and the tornado. It's a bowl that sits on the ground. That's pretty ominous. Unless we can see what's on the other side of the trees, and if we saw daylight under it, then we'd say, okay, that's a really low wall cloud. That's not good. But that is a big wall cloud, and it's very low to the ground. And if you think about if the wall cloud is rotating, if the closer to the ground it is, then it doesn't have to make the tornado reach very far to make contact with the ground. The wall cloud is rotating, but dang near been stationary northwest of Gary. You know, one thing they tell us in meteorology, and this is a good note for everybody watching, if you're out and about and you see a tornado and you cannot see it moving, it's likely moving right at you or it's moving exactly away from you. For you folks in Gary, this wall cloud and tornado is moving right at you, but it's slowing down and it's moving at about 10 miles per hour. It was moving at 25 to 30, then it was moving at 20. Now they've got it clocked at 10, and that is what it looks like. If that is moving towards you, that is a bowl-shaped wall cloud. And if it does have rotation at all, and it's showing up to have rotation, that is nasty. That is a huge, huge wall cloud, Joe. Thank you for uploading that picture. And I'm getting people here saying it's huge. The wall cloud is rotating, but dang near stationary. Dustin, thank you. Miranda says, hey, Hutch, this storm hit Detroit Lakes. Nope, I don't. I think it stays up in Monoman County. It could skirt down into northern parts of Becker County, rather. Maybe north of Height of Land Lake, or maybe into Hubbard County. But it's moving real slow, and that's if and only if it decides it's going to be able to keep on keeping on. The overall trend for the strength of this storm looks to be a little weaker than it was before. See if that is just one I can't stop looking at that wall cloud right there. That is unbelievably big and close to the ground. Okay. So if I go back to Hutch's weather radar here, and let's go ahead and take a look. And then while I'm showing you this, you can see where the latest motion of this storm is. I got to put my crayon back in my pocket. Here we go. So here's Gary. Here is this bite taken out of the storm. This would be the area that I would expect to see the rotation. There's a little nugget right there as well. Let me see where it is on the velocity display. Okay, so here we go. We've got shear marker right here and another shear marker on the backside of it, but the rotating part of the thunderstorm that caused the warning is right here. So this is not that far from Gary, where this little this new little couplet is starting to show up along the backside over there too. So in other words, I think there's two areas, like someone said it was cycling. I think there's a couple of areas here of spin and rotation in this particular storm. If I look, hold on, at so incoming at 50, outgoing at 55. So there's some pretty strong shear right in that neck of the woods. And there's still some strong shear over in this bright green neck of the woods. So this storm continues to show some tight rotation. It's moving in the general direction of Gary. If I look at the, let me see here. There could still be some signatures of debris, even out here. That's pretty close to Gary. That is co-located with one of the couplets as well. As the crow flies, let's see how far that is from Gary. Gary and possible debris up at cloud level, 5 miles northwest of Gary. That's not very far. Moving at 10 miles per hour, though, you get it. It's still a half hour away. So it's not moving very fast, and that's if it stays on the ground. Back to the regular view of the radar, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at your pictures. I know they're coming in. I can hear them clinking like a video game here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Tyler sending in amazing cloud formations. Thank you very much for uploading. Justin, thank you for this. This is an amazing shot of a close-up of that tornado as it was down on the ground. Thank you, Jessica, for your photo. Tyler, thank you for your photo. Rainbows, aren't they nice to see after the storm moves through? More clouds exiting that Red Lake County area. Tyler, thank you for that. And here we go, beautiful clouds. Okay, so what I want to do is show you a couple more looks at the clouds that are coming in from your photos. Again, while we're covering this, if you're in the path of this storm, including the Gary area, be a good idea to seek shelter in that interior room of a sturdy structure. Would you look at that beast? This was taken from not far from Beltrami. Justin, thank you for sharing this. Monday, and this was 9 p.m. A clear, defined tube here in contact with the ground, okay? Now notice that the condensation funnel, this is called a condensation cloud, a funnel cloud, kind of went away down here close to the ground, but it started picking up debris, making it visible to all. And thank goodness that was in a field. I hope there's no damage. If you hear of damage, please pass that along to us as well. The Weather Service would want to know that. It gets very difficult, by the way, to rate a tornado. So when the Weather Service goes out and they see a field of dust disturbed, we can't guess what the wind speeds were in there. No way of doing that. But what we can do is, if unfortunately a structure gets hit, then based on physics, we can make some sort of an educated guess as to the magnitude of the wind that could have caused that kind of destruction. Hey, Tyler, thanks for the rainbow picture. I kind of cheated that one and didn't leave it up long enough, but beautiful, beautiful cloud photos coming in from different areas tonight. This is the Red Lake County area as those storms made their way through. And look at that rainbow on the left side there as the storm was exiting. But again, numerous photogenic storm making its way through parts of northern Norman County. Now it is heading in the general direction of Ada. The overall trend or tendency for this storm has been a little bit of a weakening of the reflectivities, meaning the hail isn't quite as big. Ricky, thank you for your comment there. I appreciate that. As you see, the overall trend for the magnitude or strength of the hail, a little bit weaker. That's good. And then the rotation isn't quite as clear as it was before, but the tornado warning does remain in effect until 10 o'clock. We still have that little bite taken out of the storm right there. There's another one there. And again, this one might have moved north. This one is moving in the general direction of Gary, but this is the one that I would be most worried about on the very backside. So as I look at the velocities, we can see where we have greens and reds next to each other, and it's this one here that I am most concerned with. Let me look at the storm relative velocity, and it's there, and it's not zero, and it's still rotating, and it has a history of rotation. So the good news is it's out kind of over rural portions of northern Norman County. If you're on a farmstead, if you're anywhere in between, say, Lockhart and Gary, that is one nasty storm. It does look like our, let's see, it's 9:44. I'm getting new information in from somewhere here. Severe thunderstorm watch has been shaved off for a few counties. Severe thunderstorm watch has been canceled for a few counties. That's what my phone was making noise about there. So that will update on my map here shortly. And what you're going to see now is where the watch is still in effect. So as we sneak down and take a look at this overall view, the only counties left in the thunderstorm watch: Clay, Becker, Monoman, and Norman. That's it. So that's what's left of the watch. The watch is in effect until 10 o'clock. Let me see if they extended it for this one storm. It says it's in effect until 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So 10 p.m. I believe is in 14 minutes. So we'll see. I don't think they extended the time of that watch. It's kind of weird. It says it expires in 1 hour and 14 minutes. Oh, let me make sure this is Central Standard. No, it says Daylight Time. We're on Daylight Time. Okay. So the watch is still in effect only for our Lakes counties here, including Becker, not Ottertail, Becker. Also for us in the Clay County area, as well as Norman and Monoman County. Tornado warned storm does continue its motion towards the Gary area right now. I will take a look at some other cameras here that might be in the area and see if I can have any more luck with a view from the Minnesota DOT cameras that might be out in that Monoman County area on Highway 9. As we take you in just a little bit, I don't see a lot of cameras here for the taking to look at. Let me see. There's the Beltrami one. Let's look from Monoman and see if we can see anything from this distance. And I know a few of you have been taking pictures from Gary of this storm and from the perspective of Gary. So thank you so much. Your pictures have been very, very helpful. I'm looking at these to see if I can get any other view. I do have more coming in right now, so we'll go ahead and highlight those pictures and see if there's any that are, oh yeah, there's a lot of them here. 6 miles north of Fertile. Okay. That's pretty cool. A time lapse. Can't go wrong with a time lapse, Allison. Thank you for sharing. Jessica sharing a view from the Gary area of a wall cloud again. Thank you for your wall cloud shot pointing towards Gary Twin Valley area. of the dark skies. Travis is sharing that photo as well. And looks like we've got another one from the Red Lake Falls area of some gorgeous color in the sky there. For those of you on my Facebook page that are messaging me photos, I can't even see those, and I need you to upload them at hutchesweather.com. So head on to your browser on your phone, if that's where your device or your image lives or your video lives. Go to hutchesweather.com/pics, or just go to hutchesweather.com and navigate your way to the picture upload section. It's pretty user-friendly, thanks to my good friend Joe. Thanks, Joe. You made the bestest website. 5 miles northwest of you, Mom, says Troy. So the rotating part of the storm does continue straight in Gary. Right now, it's not looking good, Brady says. If you are in Gary and you have a image of the storm, then please upload those for us, but please seek shelter in that interior room. Casey, thank you for all of your shots that you've uploaded on my messenger. I really need you to upload at hutchesweather.com so that I can get the permissions that I need to show them. I really don't ever show someone else's work. Jill Peterson, incredible shot from a distance. That's unbelievable. I would love to have you upload. There we go. All right. So thanks to all of you who've been chiming in with your pictures. They are absolutely incredible. But there is a dangerous storm moving in the direction of Gary right now, east of the Walkenderry. And then we also have a picture looking from Ada. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oof. Okay. We've been talking about this little burp cloud coming out of the storm, right? A burp cloud. Let's get back to Hutch's radar. Looks like the rotation might even be picking up a little bit in this storm as it's moving very close to the Gary area. So let's go right to the radar. Number one, if you are in Gary, the warning box doesn't include you. Do you see that bright green next to the red? That's from the radar in Mayville over here. That is very, very strong rotation still evident in the cloud. Motion toward the radar in Mayville, North Dakota in green, motion away in red. There is still significant rotation in this storm making its way towards Gary. As the crow flies with Hutch's little measurement tool, it is only 4 miles away from Gary. Last measurement, it was moving at 10 miles per hour. 10 miles per hour means that we're looking at a good half hour before that system or puppy makes its way in towards Gary. Double checking the movement, 10 miles per hour. So if you happen to be in Gary, this rotating part of the storm, it is moving right in your direction. It should be there by just after 10:10. So if you are in Gary, please seek shelter, heed the warning. Thanks a lot, Hutch. No idea we had this storm coming to the area. Pulled you up on YouTube and saw you were live. Me and the kids have been watching. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Come on. I appreciate that very much. I do appreciate the good word out there. Gary and Fertile and Beltrami matter as much as any town does, and we want to make sure people know what's coming their way, especially when you're hearing something about the storm. What I mean by that is you guys are making sure your voice is heard by sharing pictures and evidence of what's going on tonight with me on hutchesweather.com. And then I immediately turn around and share it with you and the National Weather Service to the best of my ability. Okay, Gary, I got a Gary photo here, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look. Now, if you're in Gary, you should be getting into your tornado safety place. I've got damage in the Red Lake Falls area. Straight line winds, possibly. Okay, thank you, Tyler James, for that. It looks like a billboard got wrecked. Let's see what else we got here. I'll put this in sideways. No problem. And then we got Justine, east of the Waukon. Okay, good. Oh my goodness. Okay, Brock, let's get these on right now. If you're in Gary, this is what's coming your way. Brock, thank you for taking pictures. Please seek shelter. New warning now does include Gary all the way to Monoman County line. The new tornado warning has been issued by the National Weather Service for a radar indicated tornado It does include the walk-on dairy where you're sending pictures from. We'll get that in a second. Gary, Faith, Flaming, and Ranum, all in the path of this tornadic warned storm. Gary, you are immediately in the path of this storm. The motion of the storm now is 20, it's back up to 24 miles per hour. So it's kind of changing as the storm is cycling. Gary, oh wait, somebody's saying Gary, South Dakota almost gets hit last week, and now Gary, Minnesota is in the path. You're noticing a trend. I guess that's a good point. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that nasty F5 tornado and Ty James old photos. Okay, let's go look to the Gary, what's coming into Gary right now. Thank you for your photo uploads. This is helpful, keeping you ahead of the storm by you sharing information with me. Do not go out and try to stand in front of this storm to take pictures if you're in Gary. Here's the mothership coming in. Brock is sharing this from Gary. You can see this curving shape to these clouds. These curved clouds, Shelfie McShelferson clouds, shelf cloud associated with the thunderstorm's outflow kind of flows in first. That little puppy is a real weird one. If it's attached to the thunderstorm, that could be a roll cloud rolling out in front of it, and that one is. So that's not attached to the parent thunderstorm, so that could be a scud or a roll cloud in the outflow of the thunderstorm heading towards Gary. Brock has another one heading towards Gary, very similar. Roll clouds leading on the edge. This is likely a roll cloud as well. And now with this progression, we can kind of see the Shelfie McShelferson out there trying to push its way into the city. This is damage in and around Red Lake County area. It looks like some billboard snappage there from the winds, straight line winds possibly in that particular area. Thank you very much for that. If you were to, Tyler, comment or repost that picture with the exact location of that, that would be helpful for the folks at the National Weather Service. Northeast of Ada, look at that. Monster storm, lowering cloud base called a wall cloud, and that's typically underneath the wall cloud. It's very low and close to the ground. That's typically where the tornado comes down. My hometown is Gary, says Hutch. Rita, thank you. And our prayers are out for them. We're just trying to make sure everybody seeks shelter. That storm is on its way into Gary now, right now. So we'll go back to the radar here and show you that if you are in Gary, you can see that this storm at last scan was just on the outside of your kitchen porch here. And here it is. Gary, it's moving right into town or very close to you right now. There is the circulation. Green is motion towards Mayville. Red is motion towards Gary. That's the spin that we can see with the Doppler radar at cloud level. This storm has a history of producing tornadoes, as you've seen, picturesque indeed, but you do not want it moving over a community. If you are in Gary, please heed the warning and get to the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Let people know if they're in mobile homes and manufactured homes that now is the time to get out and get to more sturdy structure. How's Bajou looking, says Shana. Thank you for asking. If you take a look at Bajou, the rotating part of this storm is going to head, most likely, it will head down the middle line of this new tornado warning polygon here. But we've all seen storms kind of have a mind of their own and curve off in any other direction as well. So for the next few minutes, this thing looks to be making a beeline exactly towards Gary and rural portions of town just north of it. By those Gary Pines there as you make the turnoff on 32. So please heed the warnings. This is a dangerous storm. It's put down not just small tornadoes, and that wall cloud was nasty. That wall cloud was practically touching the ground at last display. So that is the area of wind blowing away from the radar or toward the radar, pardon me, and away from the radar here. There's your rotation. And there's Gary. And the rotating part of the storm is literally, I got to put my crayon away. It's 1.9 miles away, even less than that. It's 1 mile away from Gary now. So please heed the warning. Kids, if you're home alone, it's okay. Get to a place in your home. It's got to be a sturdy built structure that's attached to the foundation. If you're in a mobile home, manufactured home, you want to and need to seek shelter somewhere else. Don't go running in the street now, but get to the lowest floor possible and put as many walls between you and the storm as you possibly can. Does your home have hallways? If you have hallways, I don't have windows in my hallway. So those hallways can be a starting point. And then is there a closet out of the hallway that you can get into and cover your head and get low? That's a good spot. Even if you go to the basement right now, you want to have something over your head. I like to go in the room with the stairwell. So I have a stairwell protecting it in case something crashes through the roof. The stairwell adds added protection. A desk can add added protection. Just get low, cover your head, and wait for the all clear. This rotating part of the storm is over Gary right now. So if you're in Gary, this storm is moving over you and areas just off to the west of you right now. It's moving off to the east at 20 miles per hour. We'll time this out for other communities in the path of the rotating part of the storm here. So if I draw a big grace line so that we know it may not move exactly down the middle. And if it's moving at 20 miles per hour, here's where it may be. It says 25. I'm going to put it at 23. That looks like it's about the middle line in the motion since the last observation, since this observation and here. If you are in Gary, it's going to be there anytime now, 10:01, and in Monoman by 10:39 if it maintains this speed of movement. So we'll keep you updated. Monoman is not in the tornado warning right now. Keep that in mind. It's not. We'll see if it continues to show signs of rotation. It's prudent to only warn people that are in the immediate path of the storm, and we'll leave the guessing as far as how long it's going to work to the radar data as it comes in. I do have new data, but if you are in rural parts of Norman County, Gary and points east and toward the Monoman County border here, on highway, 200, and the highway 2 outside of Gary, please seek shelter. Lowest floor, sturdy structure, interior room. This is the main event. It's the only storm of significance in our area until we get up to the international border. We do have some storms there. We have scattered showers working their way across portions of Beltrami County and parts of Clearwater County right now. And that's what we have going on. So again, you can see this storm system is really, it's just a slow mover. It's right here, the rotating part of the storm, right over Gary right now, and it does have a history. Where do I apply a picture? Brady, thank you for asking. I'm going to type this into the chat, and you can connect to it. hutchesweather.com/pics. There you go. The link is now on my YouTube feed. I'm going to put the link in the Facebook feed too. hutchesweather.com/pics. This make sure I have the right to share your picture. Once you give me that permission, and it's got to be your picture, then I can share them with everybody out ahead of the storm to keep everybody informed. We extended the severe thunderstorm watch until 11. That's why I saw two different things there. National Weather Service, thank you for clarifying that. My graphics computer isn't keeping up with your mind, so thank you. Tornado warning continues for Norman County. Gary, it's over you now. I got more pictures coming in now, so I'm going to go ahead and effort to see what we got and thank each and every one of you. Oh my goodness, I've got video. I've got more photos. Thank you. We'll get to the video here momentarily. Casey out storm chasing. Good to see you, Casey. Thank you for sharing photos and uploading here. I'm going to go ahead and update these tornado videos and approve them. Please be cautious that sometimes people get excited and use language that may or may not be filtered on those videos. At this point, they have not been filtered by me, but I want to show them. So let's get to it. These are actual, Gary, you see this little hook bite, and there's another one here. This storm might be cycling. There might be two wall clouds on it close together. This storm here looks like we have one here and one here, and in and around the Gary area. So if you are in Gary, the storm with the rotation is over you right now. Let me get to the velocity data. Boom, right here. Very bright green towards the radar. Red is away. There is the rotation on that one. The other couplet that we see might be getting buried in here and going on in advance of the storm there. Let me see if I've got some debris possible showing up in the same area as the rotation. Maybe, but it's hard to tell. That it's not a clear match with where the rotation was showing up, but there is some, and there is definitely a signature here of some high differences between the horizontal and vertically oriented pulses of the Doppler radar beam. So that could be some debris in and around Gary. Thoughts and prayers. Stay in your tornado shelter zone there in Gary, and then your reports are all of our reports here on Hutch's Weather. We'll share what you have right now. This is a look at the radar. Gary, all the way out towards near Monoman. That's where the storm is moving. 20 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour, moving in the general direction of Monoman County line. Soon, your photos. Unbelievable. Thanks, all of you. This is video. Going now to video southwest of Beltrami. This is uploaded by Casey Carl, southwest of Beltrami. Let's go. Oh my. Okay, huge debris cloud. Casey, thank you for uploading your video here. You can absolutely see that thing churning over, I believe that's Highway 9. Thank you for sharing that. And again, unbelievable video of a huge tube making contact with the ground here and kicking up some serious debris. You were very close there. I'm really glad you were okay. And again, look at that, just kicking up the sawdust out there in the field. Southwest of Beltrami, again, this is Casey sharing another video of it out in the field out here as it was working its way through. There's that lean that we had to it that was showing up on so many of your pictures out there. And then as we continued to carry on there, we did get the video of boom as it approached the Highway 9 corridor. Casey, thank you so very much for sharing. This one goes on a little bit longer. If you are in Gary, Minnesota right now, there is a tornado warned storm over you. Lizzie, thank you so much for your sharing of stars. I appreciate each and every one of you. Kaylee says out storm chasing with the hubby. Be very careful. Have you taken the National Weather Service's storm spotting class, and did you find it helpful? Very, very good information in there, but you got to be safe out there traveling with these storms. Holly, Minnesota, it looks like a picture from Travis pointing toward Twin Valley at the beautiful skies there. Travis, thank you. And now check this out, Beltrami photo. Look at that cone. I mean, this is Jill, and this is 5 miles west of Bijou looking towards Beltrami. Okay, that is huge from that distance. We can't tell from that far away if it's on the ground, but by golly, that looks pretty bad there, eh? And we did get pictures closer to Beltrami and to Lockhart, which is where that was. That was no small tornado, folks. That was a big time tornado. This is Casey sharing a photo of the tornado. That's that leaning one that we saw as it was southwest of Beltrami. Look at the debris getting kicked up there. And again, across the fields, hopefully there were not homes that were damaged by that storm. Casey, thank you for sharing your photos. Brock, this is the storm moving into Gary. Our thoughts are with you right now as the storm is working its way right over Gary, Minnesota right now. All right. Kaylee, thank you for sharing that. That class is very helpful, and you took it, and I'm happy to hear that. And thank you for doing your job of spotting and taking it seriously and sharing it with all of us. Now, What is going on in Gary? With the latest, the storm continues to now show what looks like a pretty clear, neat little hook echo here that oftentimes correlates with the rotation being here. Before, there was a couplet right on this side of the storm. Again, it probably cycled away, and now there's rotation again back here near Gary. That's why maybe this thing is looking at speeds from time to time that say, it's moving at 25 miles per hour. And then the next one, it says it's 10 because it looked like it backed up. It's just cycling. So that's likely what's going on. So this is where it looks like the rotation is. It looks like it's just a couple of miles to the east of Gary. If we take a look at the velocity signature, does that match up with the same spot? Yes. Big time shear, still shear in this area east of Gary. Gary, you're not out of the woods yet. You still have rotation in and near you. And this storm is now working its way just outside of town with some very strong velocities. 62 miles per hour coming in toward the radar next to some speeds that are not nearly that fast. So it looks like the rotating part of the storm is now at Gary and points east. It's stretching out maybe a little bit on this particular view. I'm going up in elevation angle to confirm. Boom, right there's the couplet. Very, very defined at that next level up in the cloud. That one too, still tight rotation, just near Gary and points just east. And as we go up a little higher, the new scan just came in, as you see, at 10:09. Boom, right over and just off to the east of Gary, Minnesota right now. So as we go up through this cloud, that rotation isn't just in the bottom scan, closest to the ground, but it is also in the scan that is a little higher up in the sky. So the tornado warned storm remains very dangerous as we head into the late hours now. Here's a look at the radar data. As we take a look at it, there is your couplet. There is the rotating part of the storm. It's also co-located with a hail core, which makes sense. Sometimes the strongest rotating updrafts have the best chance at making contact with the ground. Thank you, everybody watching on my YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe button. It helps me out in a big way. And if you do have any photos to upload, you can upload them to a link I shared in the comments, hutchesweather.com/pics. Thank you so very much for the stars. Thanks for passing along your reports. A lone storm is a dangerous storm, says Andrew, and oftentimes that's the case because they're getting all of the energy in the atmosphere. Tonight we had a pretty big watch area, but we had a lot of isolated cells, and these isolated cells produced some pretty spooky weather across the valley, and they continue to do so. Looks like I've got more incoming, oh my goodness, more incoming data taken east of Lockhart, more videos coming in. And tell me in the comments if you want to see these videos or not. I'm doing my best to balance between what you're sharing with me as well as covering the storm as it's making its way into Ada. I think I got something here that might have some inkling as to what's moving into south of Gary. Excuse me, not Ada, Gary. 1 mile south at 10 p.m. Okay, we're going right to this picture now. Brady, thank you very much. This shows some of the urgency to this warning here that we have for the tornado warning. Let's go right to your photo. Brady sharing this just seconds ago. This was taken at 10 p.m., so it's about 10 minutes ago. But thank you for taking the time to effort to upload this photo of what's coming into Gary. Do you see this? Flat thunderstorm base, lowering of the cloud. That lowering of the cloud base is called a wall cloud there. It is rotating. That is very close to the ground. You can see just how close it is. Caleb, hi. Atlanta, I'm in Twin Valley. Should I be scared? No, don't be scared. Just know there is one big storm that is off to the west of you heading in toward the Highway 32 corridor. Will it last? Don't know for sure, but that's a mean signal, and that's what's moving 1 mile south of Gary is where this was witnessed. So that is, maybe that's where the picture was taken from, and maybe it was taken towards Gary. Brady, if you want to chime in on any of these channels on YouTube, on Facebook, please do so, and let me know if you're talking about you were located 1 mile south of Gary looking towards Gary. That would be helpful. Other video just came in from Lockhart. Again, the Lockhart is where we noticed a big tornado out there, and here it is. Koa Larson, thank you for doing that, and then snapping it in and zooming in, out looking for deer, and found that instead. So yeah, Mother Nature has a way of providing all kinds of interesting things. Do you see the rain sheets on the outside? It kind of gets rain wrapped in there. And then in the middle, there's that big old cone working its way through. That is a very impressive thing. I wonder how far away you were out looking for deer, taken miles east of Lockhart, miles east, but you locked in on it on the old scope there, it looks like. Incredible, Koa. Thank you so much. Now, as we take a look here at the clouds in Ada, and you were looking off to the east where the storms were, those were some nasty, nasty looking clouds. Michael, southeast of Monoman, watching it head straight at me. Downdraft part of the storm, the rain and the hail. Updraft part of the storm, the updraft part has the flat thunderstorm base that we see there. Thank you. I needed water. Thank you. Jim, my friend, thank you very, very much. And thank you. I think a lot of you, my friend, and I hope you're well. Thanks for chiming in. A busy cat, thank you very much. Sandy Quaid, thank you for watching. It was looking forward, Gary. Okay, Brady says I'm 1 mile south of Gary, facing Gary. So that photo was facing, and that's what was moving right over Gary, right where the rotating couplet said. Thank you. So that was a big wall cloud. And then Brady, did you notice that there was any thing that dangled down out of that wall cloud in towards the ground? Thank you for answering questions, because inquiring minds like Hutch Johnson sometimes want to know. Here's another video. This is 1 mile southwest of Beltrami. Casey out chasing. And again, that's that video he shot. Unbelievable video there of that one in the middle of the field. And that was moments ago. And again, that view of this storm from the distance, this was taken 5 miles west of Bijou, looking towards that Beltrami area. Ugh. I mean, flat thunderstorm base, lowering cloud base, lowering even more. And look at that tube sticking down out of that sucker. Just incredible size on that tornado there that gives you that feeling like all isn't quite well with Mother Nature tonight. So that's what we have going on. Here is a look at the radar. Let me tell you where it is. You see how this spot just hasn't moved? It's just still sitting here. The storm looks like, it forms an updraft here and it moves out this way, and then the rotating updraft dies out, and then another one forms in the same spot. It's like this is the hot spot right here, not far from you folks in Gary. Not that that's what anybody wants. Now that hail core is picking up a little bit again. We're seeing a little more pink in it, and it is east of Gary. You've got notch 1, notch 2, and notch 3. What do I mean by that? When you get an upflow or an updraft into the thunderstorm that might be rotating, that might spin, create a wall cloud, and that part of the wall cloud moves forward with the speed of the storm as it's moving out. It may or may not produce a tornado. And then boom, that updraft hits this part of the storm. We know this is a stronger updraft in this part of the storm now because it's supporting some bigger hail. Josh said he put a link in the chat, Caleb. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Caleb, I did put a link. It's Hutch's Weather, Hutchs, no apostrophe, hutchesweather.com/pics. There is a link in the comments section up above, just a few comments above your comment right now. So thank you so much. So this here with the increasing hail potential is likely where the new threat is, not necessarily what's moving into your kitchen in the Monoman area. I do want to say that it looks like the National Weather Service may or may not have. I just want to verify at the Weather Service site whether they dropped it. With the combination of no reports in the last 30 minutes, loss of daytime heating, think letting the tornado warning go. Okay, so the tornado warning has been allowed to expire. The Weather Service is not hearing of a tornado. I will share with them a link to the photo of the wall cloud moving over Gary moments ago. But that takes a little bit of time, so I'm going to ask you to bear with me. I think they need to know that because that is that's important. Let's go here. All right. It just takes me a minute, sometimes two. There we go. All right, let me give this to the National Weather Service. This was over Gary, taken from 1 mile south. Down. There we go. Okay. That's important to pass along the Weather Service. I've been busy. The storm still shows signs of rotation. The National Weather Service has not heard a lot of reports, so I passed along that information and sent a link to that. And if anybody else has a report from Gary, now would be a great time to pass that along. Thanks, Josh, for helping Caleb. You're the best. Let's see what we got here going on. Very calm and Bajou. Thank you, Shauna. Appreciate your report. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right or pronouncing. How do you get that weather app? How do you get that weather app? Travis, who's your question to? Thank you, Liz. Good evening, Hutch from Grand Forks. Judy, good to see you. Okay. Yeah. Travis, let me know what you're talking about there. Thanks for passing along. Okay, so we do have some rotation still evident in the cloud. We're not getting any reports of a tornado touching down. I think I'm hearing like I'm getting a bunch more pictures down loaded, so I do want to double check these. And let's take a look here. Tiffany, thanks for your photos. I know that Comstock was a little quieter tonight, and I bet you didn't mind that, did you? Now a look from 3 miles west of Gary. That's a beautiful shot, Court. Thank you much. I'll be looking for that one, and we will take a look at that together. And then here's another one from Atlanta in Twin Valley. I can see the tornado from the house from Twin Valley. Okay, so let me take a look at this picture and see. It is kind of important, Atlanta, to see. Yeah, that is a very dark picture, but I can tell you that from Twin Valley, you're going to be in that, well, you'd be looking at it from the south there just a little bit there. So okay. Well, if you're seeing it from Twin Valley and it's to the north of you, it's moving east. So that's good news for your area. Thank you so much for uploading your pictures, all of them. Let's go to Court's picture. This is what's going on in and around that area. And let's go there. And now let's go here. All right. Sorry to leave you waiting. Tornado warning gone. Thunderstorm watch gone. Threat not zero. It's not gone. So let's get in on this storm, and I'll show you where there is still some rotation. It is showing up at different layers in the cloud, and it's right here east of Gary, and it's moving in the general direction of Monoman. Now, that doesn't mean a tornado's on the ground. The National Weather Service is waiting for their spotters to say what they see, and I'm waiting for you. Now, this is what I got from you, the latest from you. And I don't want you out there taking pictures. If you're in Gary, the storm is off to the east of you now with that threat. But there is, again, that lowering cloud base. There's some little pudges hanging out of the bottom of the cloud there. a little maybe inflow band into it. And this is from Court, 3 miles west of Gary, looking probably back towards Gary, would be my guess. So if you're 3 miles west and you're looking towards it, that's what you're seeing. This would be a shelf cloud. If it's attached to the parent thunderstorm, it would be called a roll cloud if it is not. Hutch, how did you get that weather app? Can you download it on Android? I'm not sure what weather app you're talking about. If it's my radar app or whatnot, I would be happy to share the name of it. I have a couple different weather apps here that I'm using on mine. Here's a look from Twin Valley, the picture shared by Atlanta. Thank you very much. If there's lightning in and around the storm, you might be able to see it better, but that's the storm to your north then, north of Twin Valley towards Gary, that has that low cloud toward the ground, and there's been plenty of photos of that low cloud right here as it's made its way through Gary. Whoops, did I click it twice? Let me see. Here it is. Okay, so that's over Gary, and that's a wall cloud, and that storm is rotating. So keeping our eyes on it for you, but for now, there are absolutely no tornado warnings. I do think that near Waukon, we do have a area of rotation and spin. That's where it is right now. It's right over that. Let me put the radar up here. Okay. So it's right over the Waukon area, and it's heading right in the general direction of Monoman. It does not mean a tornado is on the ground. If you're in Bijou, you're north of the rotating part of the storm. That's down here. The hail risk is definitely lower, and then we'll see what happens with this storm. I know that we have plenty of eyeballs on it here with your photos. Oh, Val says hutchesweather.com. I think I have it right now. Good. The radar app, says Travis. The radar app that you see right here it's not free, but it's something that you can download. There might be a free version of it, and it's called Radar Omega, and it's really pretty good. It allows you to look at different products from the National Weather Service. I'm loading up base reflectivity. I can look at the base velocity or high resolution velocity, and you can look at what meteorologists use to determine where the outflow boundary is lying, if the storm is showing some rotation, how strong is it, how consistent is it, and it's a great tool, and you can run it from your cell phone. So that's why I like this piece of software. That's my 2 cents on that. Thank you all. Jim, thoughts on when and if the cell would make it to Beltrami County? Currently out camping at Itasca. Jim, I wasn't far from you. I was camping on the North Shore and drove right through that area. So this storm is not modeled very well, but most models had all of this stuff ending as we headed past the 10 to 11 o'clock time frame. When we look at, and you know this, fine sir, that as we get past the dark hour, some of the energy that feeds these storms is going away now. And we have seen a decrease in the hail potential with these storms as well. When we look at the straight regular radar data, you see though, oopsies, let me get to the right radar here. This is another radar. There's some pink still with this. So it is pulsing in intensity. And until this slows down and it becomes more looking like this stuff, look at Roseau now. Sorry, Roseau, you're getting a pretty good sized storm dumping out of Manitoba and moving along the Highway 11 corridor right now. That storm is way far away from the radar. Seeing velocity on it's kind of hard, but it does show that there is some shear in and around that environment as well. What are you seeing in Roseau County? Roseau, nothing severe, no warning on that particular storm, but a storm nonetheless. So essentially, in answer to your question, Jim, you are out at the boundary waters out here. If you're near the Bagley area and the headwaters area, all of this area, just beautiful country. This puppy's moving so slow south of east. It's taken a couple of hours to get from here all the way to here. So I'm not certain that I'm confident it will reach your camping area, and that's the good news. And I don't expect to see explosive growth of these. A quick look at a couple of models for all of you and all of us involved in shows. And this, I'm going to quickly go through about 3 models. This is a high resolution rapid refresh model, and it shows nothing really consistent. There is some percolation though, right near you, Jim, in this area on this particular model that lasts up until about 4 in the morning. Do I think that will happen? No, this model hasn't done the best the last couple of storm events, This model has done the best. So if I take a look at this one, the most recent run one from tonight, it shows a cluster of storms near the international border in Roseau County, and it doesn't show anything remnant of what's going on right now in and around Lakes Country and the Gary area, which is right here heading in your general direction. That said, that model isn't handling it very well either. So I'm sorry, I haven't found one that I like yet, but this is meteorology. This one shows the storms moving out of Grand Forks through the 10 o'clock hour, which is where we're at now. Where is it? Yep, 10 o'clock hour. And then boom, rapidly blowing through that area and out. What this means to me is that we could see these thunderstorms persist for just a little bit. There's one game in town, and that one game in town could skirt close to your area, Jim. But right now, the trend has been for decreasing intensity of the hail core and also decreasing intensity of the cloud tops, which we could show you here. Let me see. Let's just do this together. Let's go to the cloud top heights, echo tops, Shazam. Now, what are we looking at? This is how tall the thunderstorm clouds are reaching up into the atmosphere. And we'll go ahead and take a look. And we got 34 to 35,000 footers right now, estimated by Doppler radar. And in Roseau County, 30,000 feet. These would be what we would call low-topped supercells. They're not towering. So that means the hail potential is a little bit more reserved now. Okay. I will go back a significant amount of time and I'll let this load up, and you'll get to see that when these storms first fired off in isolated fashion, the cloud tops were similar. They never were very high. There was some afternoon stuff, and here we go, afternoon. And then the isolated stuff started forming. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Here it is. There's the event tonight. None of these got much above the yellow to orange category, so they were all 40 to maybe 50,000 footers, and that's it. So let me stop it where it gets interesting. Here is the tornadic cell that we've been tracking, and it's tall at its tallest when it was passing through these particular areas. Here we're looking at 45,000 feet. So again, not as robust vertical development from these storms, and it's trended downward as far as the height these clouds are reaching in the atmosphere. So I'm going to say, Jim, in answer to your question, isolated cell is all we have left in your area. Lake of the Woods area needs to be concerned about stout thunderstorm activity, and that's what I got. I hope that helps. Enjoy your time camping, my friend. Thank you. All right. Do you think I can sleep? Atlanta? I think you can sleep. Remind me of your location again, but if you're south in Twin Valley, yes, you can sleep. This storm is going to move off to the east of you, and here is a look at the latest radar data from that. And I want you to get your sleep right now as we take a look at where it is. You're here. Storm up here continues reforming near Gary. Unbelievable. Just keeps festering up like an old corn on the bottom of your foot. Then it kind of moves off to the east and keeps going. Thanks again, Val. I appreciate you very much. And now a look at this storm in the Monoman area. Is it rotating or is it not rotating? What's going on? I'll take a quick look at the velocity. This is straight velocity. We're not factoring in the motion of the storm, which is pretty minimal anyways. And there is still a couplet right here making its way through. Yeah, it's still rotating a little bit. Does it mean it's making a tornado? No. But is it possible it could make a tornado? And the answer there would be, I can't rule it out. It is moving right towards the Monoman area. What did you see in Gary? Melissa says, got to see a couple tornadoes today. Thank you so much for uploading your photos, Melissa. Can Bajou sleep yet? Yeah, it's going to be noisy. And there's thunderstorm that's going to be just south of you. This has moved from here to here. And it's been like, how long have we been talking about Gary? For an hour and a half? Can you exit the basement in Gary? There's still storms reforming over your area at this particular time. It looks like the risk for tornadoes is clearing your area. If you're okay with it, I would hang out until these red pixels and the storms stop developing over your area. So we see it looks pretty weak in your area. Yeah, I think you're done in Gary. The rotating part of the storm just kind of keeps forming right here, cycling, moving out. So, yes, there's no warning in Gary. The rotating part of the storm is to your east, so I would say you're okay. If you're in Bijou, the rotating part of the storm is to your south, but it's a strong storm with some tight rotation. I would still weather the storm where you're at until the threat goes away. This one here in Monoman, you are going to be in the path of that rotating storm. If I was in Monoman with my family, I would just stay in the interior room away from windows until that baby passed, and preferably on the lower floor. If you are in Lakes Country here, Bagley points south into southern Clearwater County, the headwaters of the Mississippi River. This storm is moving in your general direction, but it's a creeper, but there's been a downward trend in its intensity over the last couple of hours. So Roseau County, here we got what you got going on there. Let's see if we can see anything in Roseau. Let's go to the Endon photography site, the photos from their page, and I'm going to go to Minnesota, and we're going to look up there up north and see if we got anything up there. I thought we did have some. Wolverton. All right. I don't have one there, so guess what? Hutch will do the next best thing. We're going to the Minnesota DOT. They have a huge network of cameras up there, and we do have Highway 11 covered pretty well. So as we go in towards Roseau, Badger area, this is what the cameras are showing. By golly, it's dark, and we can see the wavy dark clouds in the skies and the raindrops on the lens out there, and wet roads. Now let's go up towards War Road. This storm will be generally heading in your direction in War Road. Rain falling at this camera site right now as it's making its way towards you. There is nothing severe there at this particular time, but as I take you back to the radar, it's a stout or strong thunderstorm. It could be making some small hail, and I'm going to turn over to the radar here. There we go. Sorry about the delay. So this is a storm here. It's moving right over Roseau, and it's heading towards the War Road area and the Lake of the Woods area right now. So if you're camping out in those neck of the woods, do know that there is a stout thunderstorm heading your way. It is not severe right now, and it has not been severe over the last significant amount of time. Big thunder in Badette, Linda. Thank you for your report there. So if you're in Badette, there is lightning and thunder in your area, particularly off to the north over the lake. And then also as you look out into western Lake of the Woods County and out towards the War Road area, where they are getting some flashes in the last minute or two. So big time thunder and lightning from that cell as it works its way to the east. Monoman, we still have a little bit of a hail core moving between you and Bijou, and there is a little bit of spin in that. I'm going to stick with you here. What about Waban? We are camping on White Earth Lake. Torrijos 1039. Let's see. So if you're in the Waban area, so look at where you are here. The storm is north of you. This is moving due east. I'm not as worried about your area at all. I don't think this is going to just all of a sudden start heading south. That has happened. So if you see these storms, making their way closer to you, I'll be here to let you know about it. How's that, Todd? I don't count on it though. I'm not expecting it in Waban. I'm expecting it to kind of skirt slowly to the east and south and head in the general direction of Nadawash in the upcoming hour. Good rain and thunder and lightning in Roseau. Todd, thank you very much. A lot of lightning up in Badette. Take a look at the Minnesota cam south of Monoman looking north. I shall do that. Let's do that now. Thank you for the idea. If you're seeing something that you want to know about, let's look at it together. So we're going to look at the south of Monoman looking north. Let's do it. So here we are. We're, oops, I'm sorry. So this is view 1, and this is view 2. And that looks kind of like a sunlit sky. And there, now if we look at this particular view, you do have a pretty low cloud base right here, right? And it's backlit by maybe a little bit of lightning as well. Or town lights, right? So that if that's the view you're talking about, yeah, there is a lowering of the cloud base there. And over here, that looks a lot like a roll cloud or from the outflow of the storm, from the gust front that forms. It forms a rolling cloud that rolls on out ahead of the storm. Thank you for sharing that interesting link. This storm continues to be pretty strong. If I had my family in Monoman, I would just stay in the interior room away from windows, and I'd prefer to be in a sturdy structure. A lot of you uploading photos. Let me see if I've got any more good ones here to pass along. Thanks, Nathan, for uploading your photos. I will take a look at this. We got a rain measurement in Cullum. Thank you very much. Justin sharing another view of that Beltrami area tornado. Thank you very much. Caleb sharing a huge thunderstorm cloud as well. Let me see. I'll share that. And if I go here. All right. Very good. Okay, I'm just trying to be clear on where it is you're taking the picture from. Okay, so let's go out and share with you. Farm Kid and Ada, you bet. You're welcome, Tariho. I appreciate you asking the questions. Let's see if we got any more. Thanks, Terry Mackner. Thanks for all you do as well. Take a look at the radar. We got photos coming in, so let's go back to the radar quickly, and then we'll go to your photos. Back to the radar. Here we go. If you are in Gary, let me know what you got. This system is now exiting you. You can get out of your safe place. There's a cell here on the south side of you and east side of you heading towards Monoman. There's another one here and another one pushing off towards Nadawash. So not moving very fast. Still some spin in the cells as of last look. A couple of different areas. South of Gary. Now you're asking about Twin Valley. That's that little cloud you're seeing there. That's the roll cloud. So that's what's heading in your way. It is developing a little bit down to the south of you with any rotation or any of that off to the east of you, and also heading in toward the Monoman area. So see why it's really hard to say, nope, it ain't going to move into Waban. Now all of a sudden it's looking like it's developing a little bit farther to the south. Now, that's a look at the storm. Let's go ahead and take a look at the radar data here. So if you're in Monoman, if you are in, well, I'm not going to tell you in Twin Valley to seek shelter, but you have see that little light green thing? That's an outflow boundary. So you got some outflow coming from that, and low, scary looking clouds in all likelihood working their way towards you. Looks like I've got some more photos coming in. So pardon me while I just double check this. And then I'll get to these pictures. Yeah, lots of them. All right. Chris, we got you. And here we go. All right, so here we go. Let's go look at your pictures. If you're in Monoman, if you're in Nadawash, and if you're in rural areas between Gary and Monoman, we still have some stout thunderstorm activity. It's not severe. The hail risk is much lower, much smaller hail, but there still is a hail core potential not far from Monoman, and there's still been some spin in the storm. Now here's a look at some of the photos that have been uploaded, and I will take a look. And again, we're seeing more uploads of what was going on in and around the Beltrami area with a great picture here by Chris Chilton. Thank you so much. This is from the Beltrami area. And yes, thank you for allowing me to use the pictures. They've got to be on the upload section here for me to do so, and because you need to get credit for the pictures that you take. Look at this from Cullum, seeing these towers bubbling up and roiling up. Justin, thanks for sharing. This was morning rain, 5600ths out there in Cullum from the puffy clouds as the afternoon went on. Beltrami, picturesque. Look at Justin's picture. Oh my goodness, just look at the size of that as it came down. I have not heard any word of any damage from the storm, but if it hit anything, it would have damaged it. It was a big tornado. This is a look from the Lagarde area. This is off up to the east of the Monoman area at what's coming their way. You got the backlit there, must be looking off to the west, northwest a little bit at that storm heading your way. It's a big one. And again, you got that updraft rain-free base where the sunlight is peeking through the bottom of the cloud there. That's the action area way off in the distance. So thank you so very much for sharing all of your photos. This was Gary and 3 miles west of Gary, likely looking towards it. And there it is. So that is a lowering of the cloud base called a wall cloud. And that is what I would call a shelf cloud if it's attached to the thunderstorm, or a roll cloud. So lots of scary looking clouds out there in Monoman right now. And as far as velocity goes, if I was in Monoman, I would just stay in the storm safe area of a sturdy structure and let this storm pass. There's still some weak rotation in the cell, and here's what it looks like. Why is it weak? Because we have light greens and light reds. That's east of Monoman. But west of Monoman, we got bright greens, which is a little bit stronger motion toward the radar, but it's not immediately next to the reds. So it's unorganized rotation in the storm. It's not as organized as it was. And that's a good sign. So with that, I will continue to monitor things here. Shanna, thank you for watching. Sunny, thank you for watching. And hi to everybody. Thank you for all your pictures. Thank you for helping me cover the storms. If you're in Roseau County, we have thunderstorms heading towards Lake of the Woods County, Badette, the Rainy River, all the way up towards War Road, going to see some storms working their way through those areas tonight. I think the risk of tornadoes is lowering significantly, but although this storm has a history of it, I will continue to monitor it. If you're in Monoman right now, that rotating storm is making its way over your general area. There is a little bit of an appendage on it. There's some weak, unorganized rotation. Gary, you can see the storm is now exiting your area. Same thing goes for the Twin Valley area. And if you happen to be in Nadawash, thunder shower activity heading its way toward you at this time. Up in Roseau County, we have a lot of lightning with these cells. It looks like very heavy rain and some hail potential from those. If you do have a report of hail, largest hail stone diameter that you can find. So if you see a bunch of, say, pea-sized hail, but you got some nickel-sized ones, we want the diameter of the largest stones. That helps us learn more about what can make it to the ground given the storms that we have tonight. These moving east and toward Lake of the Woods, I'll monitor them. These moving east slowly towards southern Clearwater County, and I mean slow, very slow. Farm Kid and Gary, thanks. Light rain being reported. Thank you. Farm Kid and Ada. Brady says, wow. Good evening, everyone. Weather Odyssey. Good to have you on board, Jim. Hope you sleep tight. Have a good night. If anything does become severe, or if Hutch is concerned, I will be back on. But for now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you on this Monday night, 10:45 p.m. All tornado warnings have been allowed to expire. The severe thunderstorm watch has been allowed to expire. The risk of severe weather is dropping quickly, okay? But there's still a little shear. I'll watch the storms for you. Thunder and lightning in Lagarde. Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate you. Thanks to all of you. Starting to lightning in Roy Lake, Minnesota, and Monoman County. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate that. So we're getting some lightning with the storms into that Roy Lake area in Monoman County. And as you go out towards Nadawash, it's kind of pushing in that general direction as well. Two main areas of concern tonight, all heading toward the Rainy Lake area near Badette and International Falls and the Lake of the Woods area right now, but eventually off that way to the east. These will move in towards Bemidji. Will they be severe? The risk is low. But if it is, I'll be here to let you know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all of your participation. Please, please, please remember to hit the follow button on my Facebook channel. It makes a huge difference for me if you hit the follow button. Why? Because the more followers I have, then the more people get an opportunity to see the videos when they're made. Subscribe on YouTube, same thing goes. The more subscribe, the better off it is for other people getting notified of the content. And thank you all for sharing with your friends that Hutch is still here watching the weather for you. I continue to do so, and I continue to do so on hutchesweather.com as well. Thanks for watching. It's been a wild evening isolated storms producing tornadoes and some reports of hail and some wind. And we'll keep you updated here if anything else goes severe. But for now, until next time, stay tuned. And as always, please stay safe. Do 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 do.
Pedro, you are such a sweetheart boy. Did you get some doggy breakfast?
Dustin.
Yeah. He's a very good puppy. Okay, let's go. All right.
Wait. Oh. you mean? I feel the same way.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist. Now,
You're the crazy boy.
Check 1, check 2, check 1, 2, 3.